bring a drive to a halt. For those parts needed to get back on the road, visit rockauto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliable low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
Wow.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? We are back. The band back together, Schaeffer and Sliwa on this Monday afternoon with Brent as well. When was the last time we did a show collectively?
I think it was 2024.
It was right before COVID.
That's before exactly COVID. Right before COVID was the last time we did a show, and then you told the company that you need a little time off. So
I said, I'm not going to do that again with him.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
And no, you know when we did it? It was the day before we were off for the holiday.
Oh, yeah, that Thursday.
July 3rd.
That Thursday is when we did it together. And then last week, we pieced it together. Dude, we made it happen.
We did. We had crazy weeks. You went to Mexico City and later Asheville, North Carolina, correct?
I was in Asheville and Charleston for a couple of days.
Charleston, South Carolina?
Yeah.
It's a good town.
Yeah.
Good town.
Never been.
You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me you're going to Charleston.
I was in the South sweating for 4 days straight.
Very hot.
What is going on with do they know about the humidity thing over there?
Yeah, they know about it.
Do they know about that?
There's a lot of humidity.
A lot of people didn't say something to me when I went out there. I'm just going to tell you a quick one and we'll get into everything. So yesterday
this is what we want to talk about today.
I was about to take a flight back from Charleston, South Carolina. And I had flights going to leave at 5.
Non-stop to San Diego from Charleston?
No, to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to SD. First one delayed 2.5. Next one delayed 2.5. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
They were delayed, so it actually worked.
Love nothing more than
the thunderstorm delay.
1 a.m. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I got X amount of hours. I had, I get up in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. There's like some places I wanted to walk around and see.
Yeah.
By the way, a quick side note, ChatGPT, God bless ChatGPT. It might replace every travel agent in the world.
I think that's accurate. Means you can it's got all the answers.
Well, I was just talking to it. I'm like, so where do I go now? It's like, walk up here, do this. This is exactly what you're looking at. This is where that battle happened. This is where this happened. If you see this bridge over here, I mean, it was like, I literally could do anything I needed. But I'm walking around. It's about $100.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
you're drenched.
I look just disgusting. I'm looking, you see a mirror here and there. I'm like, this is not good. But that's the freaking South. I've never been in weather like that. I've obviously been in humidity in the East Coast, but not the South.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hot. I mean, it can get hot here. I mean, maybe not right on the water.
No, but today I'm walking around. I go for a walk. It's hot, but it's nothing compared to
not like Charleston. It is amazing.
You're not like just sweating through your shirt 6 minutes into a walk.
Have you ever thought about this exact question? Mm-hmm. And we're a little off topic, I would say. We got a great show, by the way. Mike Ferrin at 3:30, MLB Network Radio. Kevin Acee from Philadelphia at 4:30. Warren Barton, Fox Soccer at 4 p.m.
We got you covered. Don't worry.
Have you ever thought about this? Why is it that the majority of Americans live in the Eastern time zone? 40% of Americans live in the Eastern time zone. Mm-hmm. 70% of TV viewers are in the Eastern or Central time zones, I think, roughly. Mm-hmm. Why? As in, the weather isn't as good. Mm-hmm. The traffic and the infrastructure is bad. I think it's family is the reason. I think if you're born in Baltimore, Maryland, there's a good chance you're going to live. And I feel like most people, I've read an article once, actually, I think in the New York Times, like most people die within 25 miles of where they were born.
Damn.
Because they come home or they stay home because they have family ties.
I'm like 12 miles.
That's what I'm saying. Well, you're not dead,
point.
though.
Yeah, but it's a good point.
A lot of people are
going down. If I go down, I'm within 12 miles.
You're within 12 miles.
Now, I used to be within 160.
Right, because you're still in Southern California. Yeah, but isn't that kind of interesting? That like I feel like the tie is familial. Like
no, it makes
tied
sense.
To your family.
It makes sense. Like if you look back at all your college buddies or friends or family or cousins, there's just a good amount that are exactly in that area that they grew up in.
This is a good segue to the Padres, right?
Of course it is. That's why we set it up.
That's why we set it up like that, because the Padres' home is San Diego.
Yes.
Now it's the All-Star break
and
for
12,
the Padres.
what'd you say? How many miles? 25?
Within 25 miles.
Within 25 miles, because last year was 2025.
There we go.
That's the
exactly
connection,
setup.
but this year's 2026.
Dude, is it not ridiculous that this team is literally 500? 48 and 48. You could make an argument one day, that they're a seller. You could make an argument one day they're a buyer. They're not one of these teams you just know their trajectory. If they're 15 over, you're buying. Atlanta's buying. If you're 15 under, a team like the New York Mets, they know who they are. They're not going to fool themselves. But what about the teams in the middle? And San Diego is squarely, Alan, in the middle, won their last 2 games to their credit. They get to the All-Star break at 48 and 48 overall.
Do you remember before that final 20-game stretch before the All-Star break?
Yeah, I remember what we said.
They were going to go Atlanta, 3 against the Dodgers, the Cubbies for 3, where they gave up, I think, a combined 87 runs.
Yep.
Dodgers for 4. Who was after that? Arizona for 4. Toronto for 3.
That's exactly what it was.
Do you remember the record we said we'd be okay with?
We both said 9 and 11 we'd be okay with.
I think they were on the dot 9 and 11.
They went 9 and 11.
So, okay, so the 48 and 48, Annie last week comes on the show when you took another day off. How many days off do you have, by the way? Dude, we got to get this figured out with the company.
Dude, I don't even think I was off last week.
I can't believe you did what you did.
Driving to, I literally ruined a vacation to do a show on Wednesday. I mean, I hate to put it that bluntly.
That makes me feel so bad.
It's not your fault.
So you're in Big Sur last week.
I'm in Big Sur. It turns out there's no electricity. It's like I'm making my own water. I'm like building a cabin. Have you been to Big Sur?
Bro, it's one of the most
unbelievable.
Beautiful places in the world.
But it's not made for connectivity.
I made my buddy take with him. It's Starlink, right? Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah.
The Musk Starlink. Yeah. I made him because I'm like, listen, I got the show I'm doing in the morning, my YouTube show, and then I got our show that we were going to do. But I had 2 travel days that I could not do a show. Wednesday, I could not do a show. Friday, I could not do a show.
Right, but you did stuff on Thursday.
Thursday, I did our radio show, right?
And you probably did your YouTube show.
I did my YouTube show as well. So travel days that were like in the way.
Traveling 6 hours.
I tell my buddy, I'm like, listen, plus like long drives, whatever. I tell my buddy, I'm like, he said he's got Starlink. So I'm like, bring that just in case. I didn't end up needing it, but he brought it. I think I'm getting out of the Verizon business.
Is it legit?
I think I'm getting out, with all due respect to Verizon. I think I got to see if this is the thing. Brother, it's like this. It's almost like a
is it like the size of a laptop?
Let's say size of the laptop in width, but longer, a little bit longer. Okay. Take that bad boy with you. It's got it's plugged into its own Ethernet, which then plugs into you. So if we had our comics or something like that, and you could take this thing anywhere. So there's literally not a spot that you don't have internet.
Like Big Sur.
So you had to drive an hour.
You and I were both in the middle of nowhere.
You had to drive an hour.
Not only did I drive an hour, I drove an hour to Carmel by the Sea.
What's
your
wife saying? Like, when you're explaining to her,
there's divorce talk, there's lawyers, there's legaling up, there's splitting assets, talking about who's going to spend more time with our son.
Just real quick before, that's a really interesting position to put it in. Shows your dedication to the Schaeffer and Sliwa show.
Yeah,
I think you made the wrong decision. What's your initial pitch? Like, how do you come in there with?
I'm like, here's the deal. I said, Alan and I are both on vacation, and we need to find a way to do this show with one of us available. He's going to do a couple of shows for me. I got to do a couple of shows when he's traveling. She completely understood that, but I sold it like I'll just set up in the cabin. I mean, like a log cabin.
Do you remember when we called the hotel?
Yeah, they're like, oh, our internet's amazing.
I'm like, how's the Wi-Fi there? They're like,
great.
One of the best Wi-Fis. You couldn't have had a better Wi-Fi.
But the inside radio was I needed more than Wi-Fi. I needed a hard. There was no router.
Yeah.
So I drove to Carmel by the Sea. Here was the tricky part, because you've been in that part of the country. I'm not made for the driving on the cliffs of the world.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, other than the fact that if you blow out a tire, you're in the Pacific.
But look at the way you go out.
It would have been gorgeous.
I mean, a beautiful breeze on your way down.
It is honestly gorgeous.
No, it's amazing. Carmel might be. And I hate to say this because I love me some San Diego, California. That might be the best area in the entire freaking world.
By the way, it's very nice.
What we're talking? I'll tell you what we're talking about. You and I haven't done a show together and it feels
10
like a
10
month.
plus days.
So we're trying to catch up a little bit here.
Yeah. How are things?
And the people understand that.
They do understand. Sometimes in what we do also, it's like, it's hard to get away.
Mhm.
Because when you do a radio show and our names are on the show, you don't just get up and leave for 2 weeks, even though it feels like I get up every 2 weeks and leave. But you can't,
we
like, you
figured
can't
it
get
out.
away.
We made it happen.
Yeah,
we made it happen.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin Acee will join us at 4:30.
Yep.
Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio at 3:30. The World Cup, dude, has been, it's sad to see it go. Now, it's not gone yet. We got another week of World Cup. But I mean, it's been fun.
Might not have to worry about this in 2030.
It's going to go on for 2 months.
2030, it's getting stretched. No, I'm with you. The World Cup's been awesome. We got some games that we can react to. We got the Final Four that's all set. What do we got? Tomorrow and Wednesday are the two semi games.
You can hear them right here on San Diego
Yeah.
Sports 760.
Yep.
Feel like must-win matches.
Still an absolute travesty that the Azteca doesn't have a game.
I agree with that.
Oh,
I agree.
by the way, why the game's at noon?
It's a little early.
People have to work.
I would have put them at 3 o'clock Pacific, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't have.
I would have put them at 3 p.m.
I wouldn't. I'd have put them at 4.
3:30 with 3 p.m. pregame.
We come on hard at 3.
And then go right to the match.
Give you our absolute best from 3 to 3:30. Like a bullpen guy, a mid reliever coming in a 6-run game.
All right, let's talk more about these Padres.
Let's do it.
Under Greg Stammen and AJ Preller, what direction they're leaning towards. 48-48, winning a series over the Blue Jays, off for the All-Star break. Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, with more on the Padres. He'll join us coming up at 3:30. Warren Barton, Fox Soccer at 4, and Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider from Philadelphia.
Let's go.
We'll join the show at 4:30. Plus, we'll tell you about our giveaway, a 4-pack of tickets
Hot
to
in the
see
South.
ZZ Top. Very hot. Stay with us, Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. DraftKings is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California. The Cup is down to its final matches. 1 trophy, 1 champion. DraftKings has you covered for every single one.
The DraftKings app is now live in California, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app right here in California. The world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with the code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards over 21 days. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click to claim, issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms, dkng.co/predictions promo.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 has 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with a bonus bucks giveaway. That's every hour, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up after 4 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, will join us in 12 minutes. I have a question for you, because we haven't talked in like 10 days about the Padres or about sports. Although we've talked a little bit, but we haven't talked about this. What did you make of AJ Preller's admission when he spoke to the media Saturday about the draft that I'll be the first to tell you, I'm paraphrasing, but I think he basically said this, I'll be the first to tell you it's not a perfect roster when talking about the job that Craig Stammen has or has not done in the first half? Was he putting it on himself, or was he putting it on injuries that the Padres have been dealing with? What was he saying there?
I think it's a combo of things. I think you can kind of layer that, because he did mention that obviously they're missing a bunch of key guys, which they are. Look, let's not, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not going to say that that's the, all the excuses, but the Padres can certainly say, look, we're not healthy. They could say that. Like that is a legit argument about why the Padres are sitting at 500. You could say you don't have Nick Pivetta, Darvish, like go down the list, Joe Musgrove. There's a lot of, if you just look at that rotation, and then you can add in the Ramon Laureanos, the Jason Adams, like they've had a lot of injuries. But I think the thing that he said to me that, he had said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing as well. It was something to the effect of, I think they would both agree they wish they had more wins. That Stammen is one of the first guys to be willing to learn, be willing to take on, some challenges and say, okay, yeah, I could see where I could have done better here or there. I don't know if that's an admission to me about the roster. I think to me it's more, well, why did you hire a person that's never done this before if he's learning on the fly and learning on the spot? This Padres team is clearly supposed to be a playoff team, whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. Like that's the expectations for them. I think that's what stood out to me more than anything else is this just kind of, I think him saying that, they're not happy in the sense of wins and losses, but he's learning on the fly, and that kind of triggers so many things in my head. It's like, do you really want a manager that's learning on the fly?
Especially with this team that is so
only because
old.
Of this team.
I mean, this team needs to get to the postseason because it's not going to be easier in the future. Now, the other thing that kind of stuck out to me in terms of what Preller had to say, and I buy this, was that we haven't made a decision on what we're going to do because we still have time. And we've got this road trip, and he made note of the fact that it's important, and they play teams in front of them like Atlanta and Miami. And he basically made it sound like how they play on the road trip will determine whether he is a buyer or a seller. Is that the right way to look at it? That, 1 6-4 trip, you're a buyer, and 1 4-6 trip, you're a seller? Is it oversimplifying it? Or is that a little bit like 2023 where they won a couple of games late, they didn't sell off, and then they got nothing back for Blake Snell or Josh Hader and missed the postseason?
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're looking at, if you don't know 96 games in who you are and what direction you're going to take, that scares me a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, do you think these next 9 games should dictate whether the Padres should be buying or selling? I know you could look at it from a record perspective, and you could say, yeah, but Al, if they go 8-2, what are you going to do? And if they go 2-8,
sure,
does that say everything? But I'm going to tell you what they're going to go. I mean, I said 9 games, and I have an even number.
Well, you're right. It's 10.
What do you mean?
The 10 games on the road.
Oh, is it 10?
It's 10. It's
okay.
3-4-3.
Okay.
Kansas City, Atlanta, Miami.
So just hypothetically speaking, let me try to simplify this for everybody. If the Padres are 48-48 this deep into the season, do you think there's going to be an extreme one way or the other over this 10-game stretch? Because I don't. I think that the extreme would be 4-6, 6-4, or 5-5.
Right.
You kind of know who you are. And I have a difficult time thinking that all of a sudden over this 10 games, they're an 8-2 squad or they're a 2-8 squad. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think we know who the Padres are. And I think you could ask yourself, you can make a case. I think if you're AJ Preller, you can say, listen, I like where Pivetta is, and I like where Musgrove may be, and I like that I'm going to get some of these guys back. And because of that, I'm going to add a piece or two because I still think we could hang in there long enough to where these guys come back and we might have a legitimate shot to make the playoffs. But are we really still trying to figure out who they are? Don't we know who they are?
Yeah, I agree. Here's the weird part, because it's not that long ago, and I do agree that this team is nothing like the 2024 team. I don't think they're going to have a streak like they had in 2024 when they went 43-19. But that team did go 43-19. Like they were 50-50. They were identical at this point in the season. The difference, that team had starting pitching. That this team doesn't. This team has Michael King and 4 dudes that they're fortunate to get through 4 1/3 innings.
I agree.
And somehow they've put it together to win half the time, even with that rotation.
But they haven't really.
They've been very fortunate.
To be honest with you, like I say that, and you keep going with your point, just that they got off to such a good start. But really what they are is 10 games over 500 after, that.
Right, from 10 over to 10 under.
Yeah, like we got a kind of an idea of, I think there was more of a outlier early on, and this is more what they've been.
Yeah, my point is basically this. Are you really going to fully invest in a team that's best scenario is the 6th seed in the National League postseason? Your best case scenario is a best of 3 series in Milwaukee, a best of 3 series in Atlanta. Is it worth giving up any assets, 2 of your top 5 prospects, 3 of your top 10 to go get starting pitching to try to track down the 6th seed in the National League? Is it worth it? Maybe.
Let me tell you this. If you told me you're giving up some pretty decent prospects, but you're in, I think there's a lot of people in San Diego would say, yeah, I think it's worth it.
What if you knew that they were out?
And I could be sold. I could be sold because I know that this window is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
What if you knew they were out in the wild card? Which again, that's not fair, because if you knew they were out, maybe you wouldn't do it. But then they're out.
Yeah, if I know them out, they're out in the wild card, then I really didn't accomplish something. I think the only reason why you're saying I would do it is because the San Diego Padres have been in a little bit of Hail Mary mode here for a decent amount of time, and it's this. Everyone is just hoping that can we just catch lightning in a bottle and throw a couple quick Hail Marys, both from the 50-yard line in 2 straight possessions, and maybe a third one if we need it, and win a World Series and call it a day. Like, I think as long as that window has a little bit of an opening, I think there's this thought of AJ Preller, it's worth the shot, because anything can happen in the postseason, as they say.
Do you want to see the Padres as a buyer or a seller? Hit us up on the talkback, Mike. We'll play your talkback.
Or do nothing.
Or yes.
Because I really actually think there's a little bit of like, hey, I'm not going to invest, and I'm also not going to sell off. I'm going to see if this team can figure it out, and some of the health comes. Eventually, these guys get healthy again, and we can have a good final couple of months of the season.
Buy, sell, or do nothing. Tell us on the Talkback Mike. Open the app, iHeart app, search for 760, click the red Talkback Mike. By doing that, you're entered to win a 4-pack of tickets to see ZZ Top at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 4th. Plus, we'll play those talkbacks on air right here on Schaeffer and Sliwa. All right, we'll talk to Mike Ferrin about it. Great baseball voice from MLB Network Radio. He'll join us next here on Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeart Radio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are off today due to the All-Star break. They'll be back at it on Friday when they start a road trip at Kansas City. The Home Run Derby is tonight. That's going to be on Netflix starting at 5 o'clock. And we will have both World Cup semifinal games for you right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow and Wednesday beginning at 11:30. A bent tie rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For those parts needed to get back on the road, visit rockauto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliable low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Well, we've reached the All-Star break, and the Padres are right where they started, 48-48. Let's get the perspective of Mike Ferrin, friend of the show, back with us here, Schaeffer and Sliwa. Mike Ferrin from MLB Network Radio. So, Mike, hopefully you can take a deep breath here with us reaching the All-Star break. But from a Padres perspective, how do you see this team? 48-48 overall, a couple of weeks until the deadline. Will they be leaning buy or sell over the course of the next couple of weeks? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, well, it's always a pleasure, guys. I wish I could tell you. I just don't know, and I don't think they do either. I mean, the thing is, there's 3 weeks left till the deadline. They're clearly still in the mix for the National League wild card race. They have not been trending in overall positive direction, even though this week was better, splitting with Arizona and then taking the series from the Jays. But I don't know which way they would be leaning. I'm sure that AJ Preller is both making and fielding calls, and I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a deal that helps them make their decision one way or the other. But I do think that this is one that goes for at least another 2.5 weeks before they start to get it figured out.
Mike, is it? You kind of feel like you know the identity of what the San Diego Padres are at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is it common to be this close to the deadline and still kind of in the air on it? I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess here's why I'm asking the question. Let's just say they continue to play 500 baseball as we get closer and closer to the deadline, and we don't really learn anything else. Does it just have more to do with stuff that goes on, how many teams are trying to buy, how many teams are trying to sell, what the market looks like? Because I feel like I have a pretty good idea what the Padres are, and there's a very good chance that if they stay with this squad, they probably don't make the postseason, probably need more to get to the postseason, but that doesn't obviously guarantee them anything as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things are true, but I also think that you have to take into account the rest of the league, which is like, it's not great. Like last year, what was the Reds won, 83 games and got in, right? Remember a couple of years ago, the Padres won 82 and narrowly missed it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the bar is super high to get in the postseason.
Sure.
I think we talk about that all the time, that it's like, 40% of the league gets in. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of players that get in, or a lot of teams that get in from the postseason. So you don't have to be good. You just have to be good enough. And the question is, can they still be good enough? And I think that they probably need help to do that, but I don't think it's totally unreasonable, especially if Manny Machado swings the bat like he did over the course of the last week. I think that would certainly help. So I think that there is room for improvement for sure, but, and I think that they can achieve that via the trade deadline, but it's just not, I don't know if it makes sense to do it or not, and won't until you get another 2 or so weeks in, because you're looking for one of two things, right? You're looking for a clear sign that the team is still in competition, which I think being, at or just a little bit above 500 would be, or a clear sign that they're out, which is, if they lose the 7 out of 10 coming out of the break, I think that's a pretty good indication that they'll be probably selling and moving on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the course of the next 2 weeks, and then what the Padres do. They're always fascinating, obviously. Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, with us right now on Schaeffer and Sliwa. Let's say they don't buy. I mean, they've traditionally been buyers this decade. I think they probably last fully sold in 2019. Would they, in your opinion, actually consider moving Mason Miller? And would a return for Miller look anything like what they had to give up for Miller a year ago when they gave up one of the top position prospects in the game in Leo DeVries?
Yeah, I think it would look pretty similar. I mean, you're talking about a year less of team control, right? So I think there's two factors. One, like, you're probably not going to be dealing with a general manager that moves prospects as aggressively as AJ Preller does. So that's part of it. But I think the other part is that, like, you're still going to get a pretty healthy return if they were to move him. Now, there's nothing as well coveted as he is, and as much as relievers get you at the deadline, it certainly doesn't sound like there's any intention for them to move him. So I don't know that they have to just be, out of the race to move him. I think they have to be blown away with an offer too. They have him for a number of years. I don't think this is a Padres team that's heading into a rebuild. So it's not like you're trading a closer off a team that's going to be bad for a couple of years. Listen, their bullpen has really been a strength, and I get it. Like, I would think that Adrian Morejon, because he's closer to free agency, would be much more likely to go than Miller would. But that's been their strength, has been their bullpen, and it took a hit when Jason Adam went down. But I think that I would say it's still probably unlikely that he gets moved. But you never know. All it takes is one person to offer a crazy prospect return. And, the A's weren't necessarily looking to move Miller either at the deadline last year.
Mike, for how many average teams there are in both the AL and the NL, obviously it opens the door for a lot of teams to think, hey, we're in the mix. We got a shot at making one of these wild card spots. Mm-hmm. How expensive do you think this market is going to be? I mean, if there's only a handful of sellers, but there's a ton of teams that are looking to buy to give themselves a chance either for a deep run or just to get to the postseason, do you feel like it's going to be a pretty expensive market for those looking to buy?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not convinced that it is. I mean, it's all relative, right? So, there's just not that many great things that are on the trade market either. If you look at the teams that are out there right now, it's the Angels, the Rockies, the Royals. There's like 7 teams that you feel like a pretty good chance to sell. And while there's going to be a limited availability of players, I don't know that any of them are like huge difference makers. Like, who's the best starting pitcher that gets moved? Is it Robbie Ray? I like Robbie Ray. Robbie a long time. Great dude. Been to a couple of All-Star games. Probably starts game 3 or 4 of a playoff series for you ideally. So there's value there. But for a rental, I don't know that it's going to be that much. I think, Michael Wacha would probably net a pretty healthy return for Kansas City, but they don't seem inclined to move him because they don't have replacements for him. And they don't sound confident that they'll be able to acquire replacements for him next year because they're also not interested in carrying it all the way down. So I think it's like, I think we talk about this being buyer's market, seller's market, and I don't remember there being a whole lot of, seller's markets where the numbers have been astronomical or the players' return have been astronomical. I think, what you've seen is that the teams that are going to the postseason really value pitching depth and they're willing to pay for, good relievers. And I think that just the baseline price has gotten higher on that, but I'm not sure that I think of this like it's quite like real estate.
Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, is with us. When you look at the Padres, one of the glaring holes, and there have been multiple. Their offense ranks still towards the bottom in baseball, although has been better. Their rotation has been in complete shambles for the better part of the last month, yet they've been able to keep their head afloat. I guess my question would be, even if you did add a Robbie Ray, or you added, you tell me Freddie Peralta, or whomever else, South Lugo, old friend here in San Diego, would one addition like that discernibly change their chances of reaching the postseason, in your opinion, or not?
Yeah, I think anything is just trying to improve the baseline, right, for the team and your depth. So, I think, one solid starter and maybe a swingman in the JP Sears mold would make some sense. And then, obviously they need offensive help in corner in the outfield, right? But that tends to be a little bit less expensive. Especially if you're looking for right-handed bats, I think that they're, everybody's looking for right-handed hitting corner outfielders. There aren't that many of them, but they're also not that great of players. Like, I think the best one that could move is probably like Elaine Thomas, who's a pretty good player. And there's going to be a good market for him, but it's not like acquiring bats at the deadline really costs you a ton, especially rental ones. So I think that they could do that. I think they could certainly put themselves in a better position. And I don't think it would weaken the farm system to a level where, you're concerned about competing again next year. And not that I think that they ever are. I mean, it does feel like under this group, and like the big, I will say that like the big elephant in the room is like, what does the ownership change do for this? But I think for the most part, they plan to remain competitive, and I think they'll make moves that, help, if they are buying, help them this year, and probably aren't going to cost them anybody that they really feel like that they're going to miss significantly. And they don't have that many prospects that are that highly rated, and I'm sure that they probably have some internally that they don't want to move. I don't think they'll move those guys.
Mike, just looking at the teams that are fighting in the NL, all in the wild card mix, is there one or two teams that you look at and say, yeah, that's going to be a problem for San Diego to either catch or pass? Just based off of what you've seen so far this season, there's so many teams that are in the mix, but are there a couple that you look at and think are going to be an issue or a challenge?
No, not really. I mean, I think, I think we're pretty well set on knowing that, the Braves and the Phillies are going to be in the mix for the top of the East. I mean, the Cubs and Brewers both look like playoff teams. The Dodgers didn't play well at all. I was in LA for that series this weekend, and they did not look good this weekend. They looked old.
They should sell.
I think they're going to come. They're going to come back to the plate. They're going to come back to the pack a little bit, I think, here. But I don't think it's going to be something that, impacts them. But, their chances of making the postseason. But so, you really have, one, maybe two spots that are up for grabs. And I think the Marlins have plenty of flaws. I think the Pirates have flaws, although I think that they're pretty dangerous because they haven't pitched up to their capability this year, and their offense has been way better than any of us anticipated. I don't think the Cardinals have the pitching depth to be able to do it. Arizona's offense is light, and their starters are pretty inconsistent. So, in the way that they're built right now, I don't think, the Marlins too, I should mention them. They've played great baseball for the most part until this weekend. And, I don't think that there is anybody that it should scare you or two teams, a bunch of teams that would scare you out of those two spots. I think the margins are pretty thin between all of them. And the question is who's going to be able to improve enough to take advantage of that last spot.
Mike, love the perspective. Appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to these upcoming weeks before the trade deadline. But as always, man, hope all is well. And thanks for doing it in San Diego.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, guys. And just, enjoy the home run derby tonight if you can find it on whatever streaming service.
Oh, we're going to be watching for Tatis and Freddie Fermin and whoever other Padres are in this.
A lot of Padres in this. A lot of Padres in the mix, man.
I think this is one of those things where, Nander should have volunteered to go into it and hopefully have the swing right. It's been better of late, but, still, it's I remember Juan Soto a couple of years ago doing it because he was like, yeah, I think it's going to help me catch the ball better. And then it did, so.
Real quick, we talk real quick. We never saw LeBron in a slam dunk contest. Will we ever see Fernando Tatis Jr. in a home run derby? He'll be 28 next year. At some point, he's going to be.
I can't imagine unless all of a sudden he has a 30 homer first half. So, he certainly has saved up enough that you would think that early next year he's going to go off of power. So,
well, if he doesn't hit, we'll know this. If he doesn't hit any home runs in a home run derby, he probably hits the ball really hard.
Oh, yeah, he hits the ball hard.
Yeah,
he hits the ball hard.
We're just looking at velocity.
I think we just still need a really hard hit derby.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Take care.
Great stuff from Mike Ferrin. MLB Network Radio. We're going to react to that. Plus, Warren Barton, Fox Soccer at 4 p.m. gets us ready for the semifinals.
Why are you taking shots at the Padres, man?
What I said.
What kind of
Freddie Fermin and Fernando Tatis tonight?
Is that necessary?
Kind of. Manny should be in this thing.
I
with
took
his
a velocity
homers.
shot.
You did.
Yeah.
Warren Barton at 4, Kevin Acee at 4:30 here on Schaeffer and Sliwa.
All right, our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by the Goo Goo Dolls, Kenny Chesney, Lainey Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Weezer, and more. The event, September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Now's your chance to buy tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out.
All right, Dave has been very patient. We're going to go to the phones in a second. 877-767-4760. Also, do you want the Padres to buy, sell, or hold? Let us know on the talkback mic. Open up the iHeartRadio app. Search for San Diego Sports 760. Click the red microphone icon. Just by telling us what you think they should do, you're entered to win a 4-pack of tickets to see ZZ Top at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 4th. But let's go to the phones. Dave, you're back with us here on Schaeffer and Sliwa. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks for having me again, guys. Yeah. Good to hear Ferrin. Love Mike. He's got his finger on the pulse, as they say, and he's about as undecided as the rest of us are based upon the results at this point. So let me take this for a moment, guys, to a little bit different perspective that I'm not hearing. And through all the podcasts that are out there and everybody doing their little analytical thing, what we're not looking at here is the method by which AJ has operated over the last 10 years. And every single year we get to this point where we find out that they didn't quite do what they should have done or could have done, might have done during the off season. So you prevent this helter-skelter, throw spaghetti up against the wall type of roster management that AJ has conducted over the years for whatever reason. And we all know there's many different reasons. But at the end of the day, this is the way AJ operates. And it's only gotten us 2 appearances in playoffs. There's no division championships coming. There's nothing close to a World Series team coming after 10 years. And now you've got the law of declining returns on the contracts. They have failed to, the big failure is to replace the 40 or so wins that they could have gotten with healthy Pivetta, healthy Musgrove, healthy Yu Darvish. That's number one right there off the top of the head. Now, to finish this off.
But Dave, let me just jump in. Dave, let me just jump in real quick. Yeah. So what is he supposed to do about those 3 injuries? Because I think here's the one thing. If I'm going to give AJ Preller kind of an out on this, he's working the summers the off seasons that he's working in. I know we'd like to see him do more. They're restricted. Like he's only got so much to play with based off of all those other contracts. They're not trying to increase payroll, and that's a mandate coming from ownership. And I think what you just said think about what you just said. How do you replace, if you're the San Diego Padres and you already got so much money going towards these other players, you can't replace Nick Pivetta, Musgrove, and Yu Darvish like that. I just don't think there's a world that can happen. Now, can he maybe make some small changes around the edges by the time we get to the deadline? But I guarantee you his bigger hope is that he gets one or two of those guys back.
That would be a hope against hope. And, the injuries, though, Alan, for example, Musgrove and Yu Darvish, this is 2 years now, for the most part, that they have not been pitching. So you've had 2 off seasons knowing, for the most part, that you're going to have a hole there. The only recent one is Nick Pivetta. But let me finish up with this. Here's an example of what's wrong. So last year, you go through the trade deadline, you bring in the first baseman.
O'Hearn.
Ryan O'Hearn. Yep.
Right. He's 2 for 1. You got 2 positions that you cover for the price of 1. Yep, he's a little bit expensive, but he's gone. He was only here for 8-10 weeks. I know he's a little expensive, but you make up that loss in some salary because you can play 2 positions. And so you look at all the players that he has jettisoned out versus the ones that he's brought in, and then he gets rid of them, and then the organization, for whatever reason, lets them all go. So what are you ending up with here?
Dave, we appreciate the call. We appreciate the call. Thanks for weighing in. Here's what I would say. To kind of change the angle of what he was saying, look at some of these pieces and how they have performed on the other side. Now, the Juan Soto deal was always a big swing. You had to give up a lot. Look at James Wood. He's one of the best hitters in the game. Look at C.J. Abrams. He'll bat cleanup for the National League. I mean, they have
Starting
given
shortstop,
up.
I think, yeah.
I mean, they've given up some massive talent along the way in their effort to bring a World Series to the city of San Diego. It hasn't worked. And now you do live with the tax or the repercussion on the other side. These guys like Wood and Abrams, you want to allow your mind to wonder what would this team look like with those players. And they would look a lot differently offensively than what we've seen in the first half of the year. But that's part of taking big swings. You know?
Yeah, that's my only thing that I will just say on the Preller front. I actually like Preller a lot more when Preller when he's restricted.
Right. You
like
said that, yeah.
I prefer Preller at this trade deadline. I could give part of a solution of what I'd like to see Preller do. You were asking the question. You were throwing out the listeners. All right, buy, sell,
hold.
stay. Yeah, hold. I want AJ Preller to kind of he's going to that Nordstrom rack. And he's like, look, I'm just looking I got to go through so many of these t-shirts to find one where I'm like, hey, that's a good brand. That's a good t-shirt. And it only cost me $15.
Sure.
I got to go through this maze of jeans where everything is thrown all over the place. But damn it, I might be able to find a gem in here. I think that's where he's at his best. Like, I think that I'd love to see AJ Preller shop around. And is there a pitcher that he thinks maybe somebody else doesn't have as much confidence in? Maybe it's not going to cost as much as it would for some of these other players, and he could bring them into the mix in the rotation. I don't think they have to. I think they could still be smart and responsible at the trade deadline without mortgaging the future. Or here's another top 3, top 5 prospect that they're giving up. I think you got to be honest with yourself. 48-48 is 48-48. The teams they're not better than the Phillies. They're not better than the Cubs.
Not better than the Brewers.
They're not better than the Brewers,
Braves.
the Dodgers.
There's one
probably
spot.
The Braves.
There's one
right?
spot. When Mike Ferrin did the math on it, there's one spot.
There's one
and that
spot
spot is a reasonable spot to be filled. You have a chance of filling it.
But you have 4 teams in front of you already, too.
So how much are you willing to give up? To your point, you need to be prudent. You need to be smart. It's not to say you need to do nothing, but what you're doing, you need to think long and hard about the pros and cons of what you're doing. Yeah. Is how I look at it.
Or you're making a trade and a trade comes through because it's a player that you're going to also have next season.
Yeah, exactly. Controllable. Like Warren Barton on the upcoming World Cup semifinals. He previously played for the English national team, and England will play Argentina in one of those 2 semis. The other, of course, France and Spain. He's been calling games for Fox Soccer all summer long. He'll join us live on the other side. Warren Barton to kick off hour 2 of Schaeffer and Sliwa. That's next, right here on 760.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. Padres are off due to the All-Star break. They'll get back at it on Friday when they start a road series at Kansas City. The Major League Baseball Home Run Derby is tonight at 5:00. They'll be on Netflix this year instead of ESPN. And we will have both World Cup semifinal games for you right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow and Wednesday beginning at 11:30. A bent tie rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For those parts needed to get back on the road, visit rockauto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliable low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
All right, hour 2, Alan. Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. Like that? After hour 1. On our way to hour 3. Here until 6 p.m.
You had me saying that. I'd be like, final hour. I'm like, why are you saying that? Don't say that.
Me. Kevin Acee is going to join us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Coming up at 4:30. We're hoping to connect with Warren Barton. He has had a busy summer, has he not? On the call for some of these matches. He's been in Mexico, the U.S., and Canada, calling matches for Fox this summer. He's going to get us ready for the semifinals.
Was watching Saturday night. Were the games Saturday night? Yeah, both games were on Saturday.
Yeah, 2 games Saturday.
2 games Saturday. By the way, that was the right time. We're doing
well, you were out east.
Yeah, but
so you had a little
even
later
there.
in the day.
It was 5 and 9 out there,
Yeah,
so it was
we
2
had
and 6. It's a good time.
I agree.
There's noon
What's
kickoff
with the
tomorrow.
noon? I think it's because of Europe. Seriously, solely because of Europe, I assume.
They have to accommodate the worldwide
Yeah,
audience.
and specifically
What does Europe have anything to do with soccer?
Are there any European nations even left in this thing?
I mean, who's more important, accommodating Europe or accommodating
San
Pittsburgh?
Diego. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like this is more important.
I agree.
So I'm watching the game on Saturday, the first game. Okay. So we go to a local bar. We're like, all right, we're going to grab a drink, watch some of the games here. Walk into the bar. It's like right at 5:00. So it's the game's just about to start.
Mm-hmm.
Starts pouring rain outside, right? This is South Carolina.
Right. Rains every day.
Rains whenever it does. It's so humid and it gets cloudy and it's just unleashes.
Mm-hmm.
Every single TV there was DirecTV.
Went out.
Done. Gone. Just completely gone.
Don't need it.
So now there's 84 cell phones
YouTube
set up
TV.
watching the game at a bar without any of the bars having the TVs on. Very unique experience.
You had quite the weekend.
Ordering another drink, and then you're like going back and looking
Watching
at
on your
this,
4-inch screen to watch the World Cup. We have France, Spain tomorrow on San Diego Sports 760. We have England, Argentina. You know how people talk about paths in the NCAA tournament? Like, look at this team's path to a Final Four. Argentina. Now, I don't know a ton about world soccer. Argentina's path has been a joke. Who have they played? I'm like yelling at who have they played? Like, your path is like Cape Verde to get here. Who did they just play? They're at 2-0 to Egypt.
Well, they were their last game. So they go Cape Verde, they go Norway.
Oh, Switzerland.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They played nobody.
This is your path to
they played nobody. And they've had chances to lose in each one of these games.
Every single one of them.
They keep winning.
I kind of feel like England's is there to, like, I feel like Argentina's been playing with fire. They're not going to get away with it.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Only problem is they're playing England, which is a little bit known for
choke jobs.
Yeah. So can I give you some ticket prices for these games?
Oh yeah, actually, I'm very curious.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia.
So that's France, Spain?
No. Dallas, Texas is France, Spain. Atlanta, Georgia is England, Argentina.
Okay. So
let's go tomorrow. Okay. France, Spain tomorrow in Dallas, Texas.
Which is a huge
Texas
stadium, 80,000.
AT&T Stadium, right?
Yeah, how much? Can I guess?
You're guessing the lowest. Yep. This is on SeatGeek, okay?
80,000 tickets, I say you get in for $795.
$800?
How about that? Was I right, or is it too low?
It just seems like, think about the pricing I was giving at Mexico City at the Azteca.
It's a Tuesday. There's 90,000 seats.
This angers me because I would have went to the game if there was ticket prices like this.
1701.
$1,363 to get in.
Not cheap.
About $1,500 to get in.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
1,500 to get him.
All right. That's for the game. That's for.
I say England, Argentina's double that.
That's for France, Spain.
England, Argentina double.
England, Argentina.
29.05.
26.40 to get in.
That's a lot of money now. Come on, 2,600 a
But
ticket.
you're down to the final four.
What's the final two going to cost?
This is why it should have been at the Azteca.
What's the Natty going for? What's the championship game at MetLife selling for right now?
Championship game
without knowing who's playing. You know it's a big game. I mean, in terms of the nations.
Oh, it came down. It was higher a couple weeks ago.
4K?
It is 7 G's to get in.
I mean, that's kind of insane, dude.
No. But
what's the most you would ever spend? Because you were in Mexico City.
But the roots
are performing.
Obviously, the East Rutherford has such New Jersey. The soccer roots, the history at MetLife Stadium is so deep.
Aaron Rodgers tore his ACL there. What's the most? So you were in Mexico City last weekend, taking it all in.
Yep.
Mexico played England in that classic, classic match. What would you have paid? Not knowing what was going to play out. But now that you know what played out, which is this brilliant match.
Yeah.
What do you think you would have paid to be in that presence?
Well, I regret it less because
Mexico lost.
If Mexico would have won, would have been. But I got to be honest with you, brother. Being in the streets of Mexico City for that game was kind of one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. Now, what would I have paid to be at the Azteca for Mexico City, England? I'd have, we'd have been in that
1,500.
That'd have been tops. Yeah, that'd have been tops.
I shared this with you prior to the show that their terrific young midfielder, Gilberto Mora, 17 out of TJ, plays for the Cholos, could be transferred this summer to the Premier League. It was one of the talks of the Mexican national team.
Big time.
He, all of a sudden, I saw this viral moment on Instagram. He shows up in the Norway cheer section this weekend against England, doing that, the Norway Viking row. Mm-hmm. And that alone was the viral moment. But the hat he was wearing was a Padres hat. So Mora, the TJ phenom, wearing a Padres hat at the Norway match. We're all in on this kid now, right?
Yeah, I think if I'm reading this correctly.
Okay.
It says his father, professional midfielder, youth coach for a confirmed San Diego Padres fan.
That's on the internet?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Mora's local connections have recently sparked online fan campaigns for him to throw out a ceremonial first pitch at Petco Park. Oh, get out of town.
You see him?
Oh, that's a no-brainer.
I just showed Alan the picture of him wearing a backwards Padres hat in the Norway cheer section.
Already loved him. Now I love him even more.
It's kind of hilarious.
You said to me earlier, you're like, hey, wherever he goes to play in the English Premier League,
that's my team.
That's your squad.
That's going to be my team. Anyway, I guess Warren Barton, listen, he's been all over I don't even know where he is. Could be in Canada.
Big time does.
I mean, he's probably getting ready. He played for the England national team, and now England is in a semifinal. Now, England, their history in this event has not been good, right?
Can I just say this? Couple things have happened in the World Cup. Too many things kind of deciding games.
Well, like VAR or
VAR. I think of the Argentina game versus Egypt, where they basically allow Egypt to come all the way down, score this unbelievable goal, and then they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
100 yards away.
100 yards away.
Yeah.
The red card against Switzerland.
With the dive.
Guy got two yellows. It seemed a little,
I don't know,
little extreme on that. But I just feel like VAR is it's one of those things you got to be careful what you wish for, because I think a lot of people will have said watching sports, how come we don't have replays? How come we don't have this? How come with all this technology? And I think we're watching how it's impacting the game these days. Like, I don't mind at all baseball, the strike zone, because I think that's such an easy way to do it. And there's nothing objective about it. It's just like it's either hit the line or it didn't.
Yeah.
It's a ball or a strike. But I think in soccer, I'm not as crazy about it from that or subjective.
Here's my
I'm not
issue.
as crazy from that perspective.
To your point, the Egypt goal that was called back because of VAR or I don't even. Do people call it VAR or VAR?
I think everybody calls it VAR. I don't
heard
VAR one person say VAR.
Okay, VAR.
Yes.
So they call this thing back, right? Because there was a foul 100 yards away that played out a minute earlier. That to me is the equivalent of saying like, oh, Manny Machado walked, but we're going to go back and look at ball one. Like we're going 6 pitches back now. It was actually strike.
But it was
Like,
after.
so
but it
much
was
time.
after Gavin Sheets got a single after him.
Exactly. It's like we're going back like 2 batters,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go get something subjectively right. Nah, that's too far for me.
VAR isn't even like an abbreviation. Like it's not even. It's not even. You're saying it that much faster.
Oh, right. You're saying VAR is just as easy to say.
Yeah. VAR VAR.
I mean, in
thing.
theory, it makes sense to me because soccer, there's only a couple of goals scored on average per match. So you want to get it right.
Of course.
You don't want to miss one.
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's added more
stopping the game too. And it's like anytime there's a goal, now you have to like pause for 10 seconds. And even I saw Mbappe score a goal and he didn't celebrate because he was waiting for the confirmation and like, all right, I got the confirmation. You go from there. I don't know. I guess you can argue it both ways. You want it to be accurate, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a nuisance to what they've added to the game. Did you see the story?
About, I know where you're going. Tell me where you're going.
How do you know where I'm going?
Is it expansion?
Oh, to go to 64, 68.
64.
64.
They're not going to have a Dayton like 65 or 68.
It might be next. They might have a couple countries playing a play-in.
Honestly.
Okay.
By the way, how do you go from 32 to 64 over 2 World Cups? People yell about the NCAA tournament go from 68 to 76. That took 20 years.
Let me tell you how. You go from 32 to 64.
That's a big expansion.
You just look at your profit and loss.
You look at your pocketbook.
Yep.
Jeez.
Let's talk about it. I know we got to go to break here, but let's talk about it because I think it actually it would kind of kill my interest for at least the first month. It's going to take a while for me to get interested in that. I got to wait till the round of 32 to get interested.
I mean, to see like number 1 against number 64, what's the score going to be? 9-0?
Yeah,
all right, we'll talk about it in the wrap on the other side. Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 4:30. Again, hit us up on the talkback mic. Do you want to see the Padres buy, sell, or hold? Open the iHeartRadio app, search for 760, click the red talkback mic, and tell us what you want to see the Padres do at the deadline. By doing that, you're entered to win a 4-pack of tickets to see ZZ Top August 4th in San Diego. Stay with us on Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, San Diego Sports 760, your home for live coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Get daily match updates from the opening match to the final, July 19th. Hear live play-by-play, the most anticipated games. 2026 World Cup coverage lives on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, Kevin Acee is going to join us at 4:30. What did you think of that Padres 21st pick overall? A little bit of a reach, that high school right-hander?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it.
Love his arm side run, though.
Would not have done it. Imagine those people, that's all they do is just straight.
How can
draft.
You possibly predict what an 18-year-old high school pitcher is going to do? Isn't that amazing? You're putting your eggs in the basket of
probably
it's
like
hard.
Mechanics and
AJ loves his high schoolers, though.
Oh, he loves some high schoolers.
Those last four.
He does.
They said he probably won't even end up pitching. They think he'll probably end up third base because of his framing. Well, did you see his size? He's like big, like
so the
stocky.
Gatorade State Pitcher of the Year in Florida is not going to pitch.
I read the thing yesterday on ESPN when they drafted him.
Okay.
They said that there's a chance with his frame, and I guess he's a good hitter and fielder, that there's a chance he could. I forget what his comp was, but they said there's a chance he could be at third base.
Love that. Make him a catcher.
could be a fullback for the Dolphins. It doesn't work out.
All right, Kevin Acee at 4:30 right now. Let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Use one word to describe the Padres' first half of the season.
Baseball.
One word to describe the first half. I'm stuck between two words: disappointing and inconsistent.
You have to pick one.
Inconsistent.
Consistent, your word.
I'll go disappointing. You know, there's been enough downs there where I just get incredibly frustrated. I think before the season started, and I think you could also say disappointing, given they had injuries and some players that you were hoping would shine this year didn't. Like, there's a combination that goes into it. So I say disappointing. That would be how I've watched the Padres through a lot of big games where you're looking for big performances. I haven't seen. I'll go disappointing.
I'll go blah. It's not even like a real word. I don't think. Maybe it is. It's blah, 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 blah. It's just been blah. Hasn't been pathetic, although at times it's felt that way. Hasn't been good, although at times early it kind of felt that way. So I'm just going to put it as a blah first half, which is kind of disappointing.
That's the word we're going with.
Blah. Next question.
I will just say one real quick. That is, it's like the restaurant you go to and you're like, yeah, it's going to be average.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's going to take, it takes me 5 trips to go there to be like, hey, that food was really good.
Exactly.
But for the most part, I'm like, yeah.
Very average. Average is a good word too. Next question.
Average is a good word.
Do you guys care about the home run derby?
Right when this show ends, I'm not watching the home run derby. I don't know what it is. Like, there was a time. Is this just because we're older?
Might be.
Is there a younger generation of 18-year-olds that are big fans of baseball? I don't know. College 21-year-olds that are big fans of baseball that are rushing home to watch the home run derby, and it just have to do with age.
Maybe.
I don't feel like the hype is there. I don't feel like. It's just not what it used to be, and I think maybe it's just more exhibition games across all the sports because it's very similar in the NBA. It's very similar in the NFL.
Here's the thing. I do prefer to the slam dunk contest because I feel like everything's been done.
But I watch that.
You do watch it,
I know.
but you're also
like one of 11 people that watch
But
it.
here's the other thing with the slam dunk contest, like no longer are the days of Kobe Bryant participating. And we've never seen LeBron James. And all of a sudden you're getting oftentimes fringe NBA players, unfortunately.
You're getting random players.
Yeah, I was appreciative and I enjoyed watching Keyshawn Johnson, who spent 4 years in San Diego State. He won the event last year.
But it wasn't a good slam dunk contest.
So I do think at least the Derby gets Bryce Harper on field, and traditionally we get someone like Aaron Judge on field. And to see prodigious power in baseball is impressive.
But are you watching it now or you're not?
No, with all that being said, I'm out. If there was a Padre in it, I think I'd be watching.
Sure. Yeah, I'd watch if there was a Padre.
Because there's 2 Phillies and 6 other players. I don't need it, truthfully.
I think that with them changing the rules back, it might become more like what it was, like what Alan was getting at, where it used to be better than what it is currently. But now that they got rid of the timer and everything else, I think it might resemble what it used to be.
It takes 6 hours. out the timer.
Well,
Here we go.
I'll turn it on at 5.
There's John. Comes with it.
It'll take 8 hours to play this thing. Next
Well, it's a
question.
pitch clock.
That's Netflix for you. Who wins the World Cup?
Ooh,
Is this kind of easy?
it's going to be one of these 4 teams.
That's an excellent point. I think, honestly, is anyone not picking France? I feel like,
Yes, there's people not picking France.
how?
Argentina fans, they won the last time.
Yeah, but they're by far, France has been the best
I agree.
team in the tournament, right? So I'm saying that, yes, I understand Argentina wants them to win, but I think at the end of the day, like, you've watched this World Cup so far, I don't even know what. Has France had any close matches? I think Paraguay was 1-0, but that's Paraguay just basically saying we're not going to try anything on the offensive side. They've been unstoppable. I think it's France.
To your point, because they met in the
Surprised it's
final.
not.
They
Yeah.
met in the final in 2022. This ridiculous game, 3-3 that Argentina wins on
One
penalties.
of the best World Cup games ever.
You know, France, if they get another opportunity,
Of course.
they're primed to take advantage of it.
Of course.
Obviously, and they've literally waited 4 years for that.
But if it's
chance.
England, that's interesting.
if it's England against
That's
France,
interesting.
is that a throw out the records type situation?
No, I still pick France.
If
I
it's
still
England against France.
think
I'll tell you what,
France,
man.
but
England strikers. First of all, the dude Bellingham is terrific.
stud.
Harry Kane is phenomenal.
Yep.
They've been really impressive.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think France wins it all. Next question.
You guys want to see 64 countries in the World
Let's
Cup?
go.
I want 128.
It's awesome.
How many nations?
I was going to
are
say
there?
how many nations
There's
are
200
qualified to get in?
How many nations are in FIFA? Seriously,
Uh-huh.
that's
This
my
is
question.
such a similar. This is such a similar college basketball tournament.
Right.
But here's the difference. Imagine if college basketball said, "We're going to put you all in groups, and then you're going to play 3 games against each other. It's going to be based off of points, and then the actual elimination starts. The tournament starts.
Right.
That's
Just
what obviously it is in soccer. I don't think we need any more teams. I got to read some of the quotes. So I'll give you my simple answer, but 4:45 or whenever later on, we'll do this. I got to read you the quotes from the FIFA president of what's his reasoning for wanting to do it. And it's like, it's the most strategic. We are not interested in money or sales, but it's so
blatant.
blatantly BS. I'm like, brother, just say we're here for the money.
Here's the issue, real
Mhm.
quick. This is like the Big Ten SEC conversation. There's 55 members of FIFA in Europe, but only a percentage of them could go to the World Cup if you have 64 teams.
13 or something like that to get in.
And let's say
14?
if they expand it, it goes up to, I'm making up 17 or 18. But you're
Yeah.
telling me Italy on the outside looking in isn't as good as, with all due respect, Cape Verde? But the issue is you can only have so
I
many
think
teams
that's a
from
bad
Europe.
example.
But I know. But who was the worst? Like Tunisia.
No Iraq in there.
Tunisia
Yeah,
didn't
what
exactly
they
have the greatest World
Yeah,
Cup. They
yeah.
fired their coach after a match. Right. So it's a conversation for 4:45. Kevin Acee will
All
join
right.
us on the other
Let's do it.
side from Philadelphia, where Mason Miller is scheduled to appear in the All-Star game tomorrow night. Plus the Home Run Derby about to get underway. Plus a look back at the first half. A look ahead to the trade deadline with Kevin Acee. Will join us next on Schaeffer and Sliwa.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are off due to the All-Star break. They'll get back at it on Friday when they start a series at Kansas City. Tonight at 5 o'clock on Netflix, though, we got the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. And tomorrow we'll have both World Cup semifinals right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow and Wednesday beginning at 11:30. A bent tie rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For those parts needed to get back on the road, visit rockauto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliable low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto.
Out to Philadelphia, where All-Star festivities are underway. Of course, Mason Miller, the lone Padres All-Star. Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. No rest for Kevin or Mason Miller. So, Kevin, we appreciate you taking time for us. Here's where I want to start. We can get to the All-Star game and Mason Miller. But do you have any better feel, having watched 96 games, in terms of what the Padres might be leaning towards doing in the weeks ahead? Or is it all going to be contingent on, do they go, I'm making it up, 10-6 over the next 16 games, or 8-8 over the next 16 games, or 6-10? Is this all hanging in the balance based on what they do over the next week or two?
They say that it hangs in the balance. And I think there's truth in that, but I think that, like, it's funny. I think they want to be buyers, but they can't quite convince themselves that that's the best way to go. So they're going to leave it up to this team to convince them. And look, now you just asked me that question, and then I answered it. Now I'm going to give you what I think. I think they're going to go like 4-5 or 5-4 on this trip. And, there's not going to be any real clear answer, though I think you and I would raise our hands and say, no, that's a very clear answer. And, they'll see what's out there on the market. You know what I mean? Because they'll see is it worth it to move Mason Miller? Is it worth it to move Adrian Morejon, one of the lesser starters? Like, if Walker Buehler could put together a couple good starts and somebody says, oh yeah, we could use that guy. Or Gavin Sheets, Ty France. What's the market out there? I think that they're going to end up probably being sellers, though it may not be like the huge guys.
Kevin, how much, because it's such a good point where I feel like we know what the San Diego Padres are up to this point. And we're playing this exercise earlier. I'm like, nothing extreme. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Happens between now and the All-Star break. They're probably going to play 500 baseball or hover a game below, a game under, or a game over, whatever the case is. But how much of this also just has to do with, all right, what if teams come calling and there's an offer that you can't refuse? And what if there's an opportunity that AJ Preller didn't know was going to present itself and they become a buyer? Like, how much does it also just have to do with what the market is by the time we get to, obviously a couple days with outside of the trade deadline?
I believe that that's the reality, is that it has to do with the market. And I believe that just, having done this a while, I also know that AJ Preller would be like, yes, amen. That's exactly what it is. He would say that it's that like every year, though, of course, they were definite buyers last year and definite buyers in 24. This has more of a 23, a 21 feel to it. And I'm not saying not a playoff team, but just like let's see what the market is out there. And remember, they made a real play. They were the inventors of the Max Scherzer, Trey Turner proposal. They were the first ones to offer for that. So they tried in 21 to a certain extent, but then the market, after the Dodgers pulled the rug out there, and then the market wasn't there for them to do anything except make these nominal little additions. So that may be what they do this year, because I will tell you this, they know. They are so realistic. I've been talking to people since April, and probably some others since March, as in spring training, that they know this is not a playoff team as constructed right now. Okay, but how do you know it can't be if you make a few additions? You don't. You can't say that. I know that a lot of people are saying right now and screaming into the radios, yes, you can. No, you can't. You can't. And if this team makes the playoffs, it's because they made some additions. And so then if they're in the playoffs How can you say, oh, they're going to be 3-out? No, because if you make the playoffs, you don't know what their team's going to look like. Because I'm telling you, if they make the playoffs, it's going to have some different players than it has right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it, and I agree with you. Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. And I guess on one hand, when AJ Preller says, listen, I'm the first to tell you it's not a perfect roster. I mean, we all have eyes. We recognize the Padres offense has been a struggle for most of the year. The rotation has been
looks perfect,
an abomination. Yeah, for the better part of the last month. What was your reaction to the way he said it? Was that like a vote of confidence for Craig Stammen, or why did AJ Preller go down that path when it comes to the way the team has performed in the first half?
I guess I'd want to know what specifically you mean. I mean, there was the part of confidence, but what? Yeah.
Yeah. The part where I think it was asked specifically, like I don't have it all. I'd have to hear it again, but asked about Craig Stammen's job. He then went down a path of, well, I'll be the first to tell you it's not a perfect roster, as if to say it's not on Craig Stammen, the fact that the team has performed to this level.
Yeah. And I think he was choosing his words carefully, and we shouldn't read too much into what AJ Preller says at any time, but especially when he's on one of these conference calls and he knows that it's going to be dissected and all that stuff, and he doesn't really care. And, he's just saying words that, like, yes, it's a vote of confidence. To parse the words, is a fool's errand. But a vote of confidence. I mean, he was saying, like, this isn't on Craig. I mean, come on. Now, I don't think that AJ would say Craig's done a perfect job, but I do believe that AJ Preller does not think this is on Craig Stammen. Now, it would also behoove Craig or AJ Preller to not believe it's on Craig, because he can't go through another manager.
Right. He hired him. So, I mean, it's also a poor reflection on him in that process. Kevin, as we sit here, today and we just kind of look at, I find it fascinating that in this process of the trade deadline, and you look at some of the different players that could be available, and how much there's so many teams that are in the mix now in the NL and the AL. So you got to just imagine that. I think I looked at the American League. Within 3 games of that wild card spot, you're about 10 deep total, right? And it's kind of similar on the opposite side of the NL. Does the standings, you think, mean anything between now and the deadline? Because, like I said a little bit earlier, it's hard for me to believe that what they do between now and the deadline changes what they actually look like. How much do you think Preller pays attention specifically and says, well, I got to do something because of the standings? Do you think that dictates more or less what his decision is?
The standings are like they're a factor, right? Because, like, well, where are we, right? Like, don't play the Cubs, the Cardinals, or the Phillies anymore. Okay, where are they? All right, well, are there some other teams? Oh, we play the Marlins 6 times. Okay, got it. Got the Pirates 3 times. Like the Diamondbacks 7 times, whatever it is. Like, okay. The standings matter, but I think where you're going, and this is how I believe that they're assessing is, are they good enough to win enough games? If you're going to do the math and say, let's go with 87, let's go with 86, whatever, that do we have the team to win? Are they 48? So do you have the team to win 38 more games out of your 66? That's the question.
It's so fascinating because, listen, on one hand, they did play, 19-9 baseball for 28 games. But on the other hand, they played 10 or 11 under for 28 or 30 games. So it's like, it's just which way is the wind blowing over the course of the next 10 or 15 games. What do you make of the way that Machado seemingly has turned his season around? And will that continue? Would your expectation be that Manny has fixed something that will allow him to play like this for the second half of the season?
Yeah. Will it be whatever it is? If you go back to, 15 games, is it a 1,200 OPS? If you go back 30 games, it's a 958 OPS. I know that because it's the 12th straight season that he has had at least a 30-game stretch with a 950 OPS. Like, this is what Manny does. And so I don't know if it'll be those numbers, but it's pretty clear that he's Manny now. He's not missing as many pitches. He's getting off on his swing, his whole motion, his timing looks. I'm not a hitting coach, but it looks a lot more Manny. Manny's one of those guys you can just tell when you look at him, like for the most part. He just got pretty simple and beautiful swing. And so, yeah, I think this is him. He did it. He is who he says he is, right? Now, if he does continue and he ends up having the average, I think obviously the power numbers, they sure seem like they're going to be there. Seemed like that for a couple months. But like if he ends up hitting and he's shooting 260 by the end of the year, that meant that means he's continued at this pace.
Yeah.
Because he's still only at 203.
Yeah.
And so that would be very good for the Padres.
Kevin, final one for me. And I know it kind of, we started talking very briefly about potentially a little bit of progress from Pivetta, a little bit of progress from Musgrove. Anything new on that front? Anything just, I know that, I don't know how often you guys get news and information on it, but are they feeling any better today than they were a couple weeks ago or even a week ago?
Yeah, I wrote about it over the weekend that, Joe and Nick are expecting that like maybe even as soon as this week, possibly next week, and I think it'd be while the team's on the road, and I'm not sure whether they'll be on the road with them, but while this road trip's happening, that they'll start throwing lives. And that Joe's plan is, and this is really interesting, I gotta be careful how I say it here, but like Joe's plan is not to skip steps, but like where time's running short. So if you were thinking, hey, maybe you would do like 3 live batting practice sessions before you go to a sim game. Let's do 2. And maybe you would do 2 sim games before you go to rehab. Let's do 1. Because he's at a point where he's not going to re-hurt himself. It's about like pain tolerance. It's about like recovery. Can he recover after these? So if everything's going good and he can recover after them, then it's time to put the foot on the gas, guys. And so they both know that, or they believe that these next couple of weeks that they're like, just like the team, the Preller, ownership, whatever, are assessing how the team on the field does, wins and losses, and how they're playing. They're assessing what Nick and Joe are looking like and how they're progressing toward that hopeful middle of August return, because that could determine like their confidence level as well. Because as we know, I forget what words you used, but the starting rotation has been abysmal, and they probably can't afford or even be able to find the number of starters that they might need. So as it's been told to me, for this team to make the playoffs, they need Pivetta and or Musgrove to come back and be, close to what they should be. Basically one of them needs to hit in August and September and be there to pitch for them in October. And so like, this is a really crucial period.
No, I only said abomination, Kevin. I didn't go as far as abysmal. I don't know which is further.
Abomination is like biblical.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's worse than abysmal.
I think
they both work.
I think they both. And this has not been a good rotation, yet here they are at 48 and 48 overall. Kevin, enjoy the city of brotherly love, and we'll catch up later in the week.
Right on. See you.
All right, we're going to react to some of that on the other side. Plus, if you missed Mike Ferrin on MLB Network Radio, you'll hear our conversation coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. This is Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, hey guys, it is Schaeffer again for my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. A great week to get out there with their World Cup watch parties. It really is a great week. You can get to those watch parties at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. You can catch every match on the big screen at Tony Gwynn's. During their World Cup watch parties, you can enjoy game day specials, great food, cold drinks, an electric atmosphere for every match. Grab your crew, experience all the action with Hamul. While you're there, you'll love their hotel and spa, where you can experience elevated luxury, a refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Hamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. And now take your stay to the next level with exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. And while you're there, make sure to check out all the dining options, including Hamul 23 with their lobster buffet every day. You can enjoy all-you-can-eat lobster every day, plus dozens of other delicious stations at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, if you missed our conversation with Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, you're going to hear that coming up either at 5 or 5:30. That's to be determined. Whatever we determine. But you'll hear from Mike Ferrin coming up.
He's great, by the way.
He was really, really good.
No, he's just phenomenal in general. Every time we bring him on, he's a great guest.
Interesting from Kevin.
What do you got?
In terms of just like the state of the rotation and can you really reach the postseason without some crazy influx at the deadline or without Nick Pivetta looking like an ace if he returns or catching lightning in a bottle with Joe Musgrove.
He said you need one of those two to hit. And he's, you couldn't be more. Let me give you, I think I could give you more than just that.
Okay.
I think one of those two got to hit. And I think just based off of Pivetta at least pitched this year and we haven't seen Musgrove since 2024 in that playoff game, then the Pivetta piece I think is going to be interesting to watch because even if Musgrove comes back, we have literally no idea what to expect back from Musgrove. Not that you'd have just this complete confidence and certainty in Nick Pivetta, but you need one of those two pitchers to come back. Let me play it out. Let's say Pivetta came back and was Pivetta. was 85% of himself. Okay. That'd be the second best pitcher in this rotation by far. And I think you'd have to go out there and get a pitcher by the deadline. You need another starting pitcher. And you need these bats to still continue to be consistent. And Machado, I saw something. I'm so sick of hearing people say, Stammen said something over the weekend. Or maybe it was yesterday. It was like, the Padres go as Manny goes. And he was saying, he's like the saying that everybody has.
The team goes.
I disagree completely. I think Manny can ball out, but they also still then need Tatis and Merrill. Like, there are so many pieces that need to go for the San Diego Padres. I don't think it's just, well, if Manny goes, everybody goes.
Well, to that point, he's got a 950 OPS over his last 30 games. The team is a 500 team.
Right.
They haven't been good. They were 9-11 over the last 20. He's been balling out.
So that's a great example.
Like, I completely agree.
I want to stop hearing that whole, because I also think it puts pressure on Manny Machado. And like the reality is, even if Machado is great, go take the best play. Go take Schwarber and see in a stretch where he's absolutely on fire. Is it all on Kyle Schwarber? No.
I mean, look at Ohtani's first 6 years in the big leagues in Anaheim.
There you go. That's a great example.
He had some amazing years.
That's a great example. Him and Trout were on the same freaking team.
No, you're right. It is and Manny doesn't like to go there, to his credit. Like, he doesn't like when the ball is just fully put in his court. Like, it's like, you got to produce right now. Like, you get into the postseason, he's like, well, I'm just going to take it one game at a time. I don't think he wants to put additional pressure on himself or even these games out of the All-Star break.
That might be a baseball thing.
It may be. But out of this All-Star break where everyone's like, yo, you guys got to play well, he's like, we're just going to take it a game at a time. I mean, you can't just tell yourself as a team, hey, now's the time. Let's play well. The opponent has something to do with it. Plus, sometimes pressure in sports doesn't get the best out of you, specifically in a sport like baseball. If it was as simple as saying, hey, you got to go 8-2 over the next 10 games, every team would go 8-2 over the next 10 games. It's not as simplistic as that.
I think the just again, play off of what it would take to make the postseason. You got some stuff that got to go your way. And I don't really fall into this camp of, well, there's only 5 really good teams in the NL. Padres aren't a good team to begin with, and they've showed that they're at best at 500. So with that being said, it's not like Miami or Pittsburgh or some of these other teams have to play 10 games over 500 in the second half to catch one of those final playoff spots.
Yeah, exactly. St. Louis, there's other teams in there. And this is such a bizarre sport that, to your earlier point, where it's like, are we really going to make determinations based on like one series results? I mean, Arizona just swept LA. Does that mean Arizona should go trade for Skubal and go all in and think that they're now a World Series contender because they went to Dodger Stadium and swept the 3-game series?
No, but I tell you what would force them to buy is they've kind of had in their mind these last couple of years, this is our window.
I agree.
We're in the middle of it.
They're similar to San Diego.
There are a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Differences. They got to a World Series, but there are similarities.
But it's like you can take any one series of results and make any determination. As in, there's been a series this year, I'd be like, the Padres are the worst team in the sport. And there's been another series this year where I'm like, hey, remember that series when they got to 19-9? And I'm making it up. They swept St. Louis. I'm making it up. I don't like. It's easy to do that.
I got the perfect example for you.
Yeah,
when they swept Seattle in Seattle,
done it twice,
but they did it in Seattle, and it felt like momentum shifting, and then
didn't shift.
It took 15 minutes for it to kind of shift the other way. When they swept Atlanta and then took the first one against the Dodgers, and it was like, okay, things are starting to look good. And then they got outscored by 87 runs over the next couple of games.
Right.
It's like, I don't think this one's going as planned.
And that's why this is hard. I recognize it. Like, I don't think these jobs are easy. Like, if you're AJ Preller and you got to ask yourself, you have a whiteboard that says pros, cons. Hey, we're 4 over, or we're 1 out, or we're 2 over and we're 2 out. Like, all of it is a factor, and then you make a determination.
Here's what I think is going to make AJ Preller's life a little easier.
Okay.
Number one, he's a risk taker and he's a gambler. So I think he already has that as his foundation. Number two, that last wild card spot there's like a legitimate shot for it, right? So it's not that you're saying to yourself, man, these other squads are just so much better than the Padres. And number three, I think, listen, you don't have to go slap a couple of singles and see what happens. Like, it doesn't have to be, nobody's asking you to go all in. Right. I think people are looking at this squad and saying, if you can help, there's there's an angle to take, maybe an opportunity that doesn't present itself today, but it presents itself down the line. Or who knows? Maybe teams just go crazy and want Mason Miller and offer the farm, and he's got to make a determination off of that.
Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, with the latest on the Padres at the deadline. If you missed that conversation, you'll hear it on the other side. Plus, Shams has the latest on LeBron's future. We haven't heard anything yet. Can you believe that?
LeBron, I tell you one thing. Something I respect is he definitely does not want attention.
No, that's one thing he does not want.
He's so not hungry for attention for 23 and now about to be 24 off seasons.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hear from Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio. On the other side, we'll hear more from Shams on LeBron's upcoming decision here until 6 p.m. on Schaeffer and Sliwa. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres are off due to the All-Star break. They'll get back at it on Friday when they start a road series at Kansas City. Starting here in about 5 minutes or so, the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby, which is on Netflix this year instead of ESPN. We'll have both World Cup semifinal games for you right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow and Wednesday, beginning at 11:30. A failed strut can turn any drive into a rough ride. When it's time for repairs, Rock Auto makes finding the right part easy. Shop name brands at lower prices and have parts shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
All right, final hour here on Schaeffer and Sliwa with you until 6 p.m. Mason Miller, by the way, speaking today at All-Star Game festivities on his future, and you'll hear more about that coming up. Also, what players have to say about baseball's proposed salary cap. But if you missed it earlier, Mike Ferrin, great voice from MLB Network Radio. We started the conversation by asking Mike if he's got a feel for the Padres as a buyer or a seller after their 48-48 first half.
Yeah, well, it's always a pleasure, guys. I wish I could tell you. I just don't know, and I don't think they do either. I mean, the thing is, there's 3 weeks left till the deadline. They're clearly still in the mix for the National League wild card race. They have not been trending in overall positive direction, even though this week was better, splitting with Arizona and then taking the series from the Jays. But I don't know which way they would be leaning. I'm sure that AJ Preller is both making and fielding calls, and I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a deal that helps them make their decision one way or the other. But I do think that this is one that goes for at least another 2.5 weeks before they start to get it figured out.
Mike, is it? You kind of feel like you know the identity of what the San Diego Padres are at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is it common to be this close to the deadline and still kind of in the air on it? I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess here's why I'm asking the question. Let's just say they continue to play 500 baseball as we get closer and closer to the deadline, and we don't really learn anything else. Does it just have more to do with stuff that goes on, how many teams are trying to buy, how many teams are trying to sell, what the market looks like? Because I feel like I have a pretty good idea what the Padres are, and there's a very good chance that if they stay with this squad, they probably don't make the postseason, probably need more to get to the postseason, but that doesn't obviously guarantee them anything as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things are true, but I also think that you have to take into account the rest of the league, which is like, it's not great. You know, like last year, what was the Reds won, 83 games and got in, right? Remember a couple of years ago, the Padres won 82 and narrowly missed it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the bar is super high to get in the postseason.
Sure.
I think we talk about that all the time, that it's like, 40% of the league gets in. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of players that get in, or a lot of teams that get in from the postseason. So you don't have to be good. You just have to be good enough. And the question is, can they still be good enough? And I think that they probably need help to do that, but I don't think it's totally unreasonable, especially if Manny Machado swings the bat like he did over the course of the last week. I think that would certainly help. So I think that there is room for improvement for sure, but and I think that they can achieve that via the trade deadline, but it's just not, I don't know if it makes sense to do it or not, and won't until you get another 2 or so weeks in, because you're looking for one of two things, right? You're looking for a clear sign that the team is still in competition, which I think being, at or just a little bit above 500 would be, or a clear sign that they're out, which is, if they lose the 7 out of 10 coming out of the break, I think that's a pretty good indication that they'll be, probably selling and moving on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the course of the next 2 weeks, and then what the Padres do. They're always fascinating, obviously. Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, with us right now on Schaeffer and Sliwa. Let's say they don't buy. I mean, they've traditionally been buyers this decade. I think they probably last fully sold in 2019. Would they, in your opinion, actually consider moving Mason Miller? And would a return for Miller look anything like what they had to give up for Miller a year ago when they gave up one of the top position prospects in the game in Leo DeVries?
Yeah, I think it would look pretty similar. I mean, you're talking about a year less of team control, right? So I think there's two factors. One, like, you're probably not going to be dealing with a general manager that moves prospects as aggressively as AJ Preller does. So that's part of it. But I think the other part is that, like, you're still going to get a pretty healthy return if they were to move him. Now, there's nothing as well coveted as he is, and as much as relievers get you at the deadline, it certainly doesn't sound like there's any intention for them to move him. So I don't know that they have to just be, out of the race to move him. I think they have to be blown away with an offer too. They have him for a number of years. I don't think this is a Padres team that's heading into a rebuild. So it's not like you're trading a closer off a team that's going to be bad for a couple of years. Listen, their bullpen has really been a strength, and I get it. Like, I would think that Adrian Morejon, because it's closer to free agency, would be much more likely to go than Miller would. But that's been their strength, has been their bullpen, and it took a hit when Jason Adam went down. But I think that I would say it's still probably unlikely that he gets moved. But you never know. All it takes is one person to offer a crazy prospect return. And, the A's weren't necessarily looking to move Miller either at the deadline last year.
Mike, for how many average teams there are in both the AL and the NL, obviously it opens the door for a lot of teams to think, hey, we're in the mix. We got a shot at making one of these wild card spots. How expensive do you think this market is going to be? I mean, if there's only a handful of sellers, but there's a ton of teams that are looking to buy to give themselves a chance either for a deep run or just to get to the postseason. Do you feel like it's going to be a pretty expensive market for those looking to buy?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not convinced that it is. I mean, it's all relative, right? So, it's there's just not that many great things that are on the trade market either. If you look at the teams that are out there right now, it's the Angels, the Rockies, the Royals. There's like 7 teams that you feel like a pretty good chance to sell. And while there's going to be a limited availability of players, I don't know that any of them are like huge difference makers. Like, who's the best starting pitcher that gets moved? Is it Robbie Ray? I like Robbie Ray. Robbie a long time. Great dude. Been to a couple of all-star games. Probably starts game 3 or 4 of a playoff series for you ideally. So there's value there. But for a rental, I don't know that it's going to be that much. I think, Michael Wacha would probably net a pretty healthy return for Kansas City, but they don't seem inclined to move him because they don't have replacements for him. And they don't sound confident that they'll be able to acquire replacements for him next year because they're also not interested in carrying it all the way down. So I think it's like, I think we talk about this being buyer's market, seller's market, and I don't remember there being a whole lot of, seller's markets where the numbers have been astronomical or the players' return have been astronomical. I think, what you've seen is that the teams that are going to the postseason really value pitching depth and they're willing to pay for, good relievers. And I think that just the baseline price has gotten higher on that, but I'm not sure that I think of this like it's quite like real estate.
Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio, is with us. When you look at the Padres, I mean, one of the glaring holes, and there have been multiple. I mean, their offense ranks still towards the bottom in baseball, although has been better. Their rotation has been in complete shambles for the better part of the last month, yet they've been able to keep their head afloat. I guess my question would be, even if you did add a Robbie Ray, or you added, you tell me Freddie Peralta, or whomever else, South Lugo, old friend here in San Diego, would one addition like that discernibly change their chances of reaching the postseason, in your opinion, or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything is just trying to improve the baseline, right, for the team and your depth. So, I think, one solid starter and maybe a swingman in the JP Sears mold would make some sense. And then, obviously they need offensive help in corner in the outfield, right? But that tends to be a little bit less expensive. I mean, especially if you're looking for right-handed bats, I think that everybody's looking for right-handed hitting corner outfielders. There aren't that many of them, but they're also not that great of players. Like, I think the best one that could move is probably like Elaine Thomas, who's a pretty good player. And there's going to be a good market for him, but it's not like acquiring bats at the deadline really costs you a ton, especially rental ones. So I think that they could do that. I think they could certainly put themselves in a better position. And I don't think it would weaken the farm system to a level where, you're concerned about competing again next year. And not that I think that they ever are. I mean, it does feel like under this group, and like the big, I will say that like the big elephant in the room is like, what does the ownership change do for this? But I think for the most part, they plan to remain competitive, and I think they'll make moves that, help, if they are buying, help them this year, and probably aren't going to cost them anybody that they really feel like that they're going to miss significantly. And they don't have that many prospects that are that highly rated, and I'm sure that they probably have some internally that they don't want to move. I don't think they'll move those guys.
Mike, just looking at the teams that are fighting in the NL, all in the wild card mix, is there one or two teams that you look at and say, yeah, that's going to be a problem for San Diego to either catch or pass? Just based off of what you've seen so far this season, there's so many teams that are in the mix, but are there a couple that you look at and think are going to be an issue or a challenge?
No, not really. I mean, I think, I think we're pretty well set on knowing that, the Braves and the Phillies are going to be in the mix for the top of the East. I mean, the Cubs and Brewers both look like playoff teams. The Dodgers didn't play well at all. I was in LA for that series this weekend, and they did not look good this weekend. They looked old. They should sell. I think they're going to come. They're going to come back to the plate. They're going to come back to the pack a little bit, I think, here. But I don't think it's going to be something that impacts them. But the chances of making the postseason. But so you really have one, maybe two spots that are up for grabs. And I think the Marlins have plenty of flaws. I think the Pirates have flaws, although I think that they're pretty dangerous because they haven't pitched up to their capability this year, and their offense has been way better than any of us anticipated. I don't think the Cardinals have the pitching depth to be able to do it. Arizona's offense is light, and their starters are pretty inconsistent. So, in the way that they're built right now, I don't think, the Marlins too, I should mention them. They've played great baseball for the most part until this weekend. And, I don't think that there is anybody that it should scare you or two teams, a bunch of teams that would scare you out of those two spots. I think the margins are pretty thin between all of them. And the question is who's going to be able to improve enough to take advantage of that last spot.
Mike, love the perspective. Appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to these upcoming weeks before the trade deadline. But as always, man, hope all is well. And thanks for doing it in San Diego.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, guys. And just, enjoy the home run derby tonight if you can find it on whatever streaming service.
Oh, we're going to be watching for Tatis and Freddie Fermin and whoever other Padres are in this.
A lot of Padres in this. A lot of Padres in the mix, man.
I think this is one of those things where, Nando should have volunteered to go into it and hopefully have the swing right. It's been better of late, but, still, it's I remember Juan Soto a couple of years ago doing it because he was like, yeah, I think it's going to help me back the ball better. And then it did, So,
real quick, we talk real quick. We never saw LeBron in a slam dunk contest. Will we ever see Fernando Tatis Jr. in a home run derby? He'll be 28 next year. At some point, he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine unless all of a sudden he has a 30 homer first half. So, I mean, he certainly has saved up enough that you would think that early next year he's going to go off with power. So,
well, if he doesn't hit, we'll know this. If he doesn't hit any home runs in a home run derby, he probably hits the ball really hard.
Oh, yeah, he hits the ball hard.
Yeah,
he hits the ball hard.
We're just looking at velocity.
I think we just still need a really hard hit derby.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Take care.
All right, great stuff there. Mike Ferrin, MLB Network Radio.
What are we, comedians? We're cracking 7 jokes there towards the end.
We are. It's not a laughing matter? LeBron James' future.
Jesus.
You like that segue?
That's huge.
You're going to hear what Shams has to say about LeBron's future. Plus,
people pulled over right now and said, wow.
How about Mason Miller talking about his future today at the All-Star Game festivities? We're here until 6 p.m. This is Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, DraftKings is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California. The Cup is down to its final matches. One trophy, one champion. DraftKings has you covered for every single one.
The DraftKings app is now live in California, so whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in California, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with a code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards over 21 days. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends July 19th. Terms, dkng.co/predictions promo.
All right, with the iHeartRadio app, you can stream us wherever you are, 24 hours a day. Just search for San Diego Sports 760 to stream us live all day, every day. You can leave your comments for us using the TalkBack microphone. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want us to talk about. Make us a preset so we can pop in each time you open the app. San Diego Sports 760, always live on the iHeartRadio app.
We will share a couple of talkbacks at 5:45 and announce a winner of the 4-pack of tickets to see ZZ Top, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, August 4th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. We'll share those talkbacks with you coming up at 5:45 and announce a winner. What are you doing right now?
I'm taking a free throw.
Oh, you're going to take a free throw? Yes, do that.
With your crumpled
up piece of paper.
Do you ever see when they get to the line, right?
Yeah.
I usually use the full 10.
Okay, use
I'm
the
like
full
Giannis,
10.
where people,
Like
the crowd
Carl
starts counting and everything else.
Okay. All right. Take the deep breath. Oh, it wasn't even close.
I was just about to say I'm back because I hit the first one.
Yeah.
That one.
But that wasn't on air.
That one was completely to the left. Why take a full deep breath if you throw it to the left?
The first one you made is like making a summer league free throw.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because you were off air. Once
Listen,
you get on air, it's like game 6 of the NBA.
I get
Finals.
that. I understand that. But coming from you, who has no arc at all, like you throw
by like 3 feet to the trash can, by the way, than you are.
You throw, I've never seen it. It's like an 88 mile per hour fastball. It needs some arc. You need arc.
Can we get the latest from Shams?
Yes.
Is it Shams or Shams?
Shams.
Shams.
Is it VAR or VAR? Seriously. It's so confusing. All right, let's hear from Shams on LeBron James and his future.
Good to be back, man.
MJ, every day LeBron James inches closer and closer to a decision.
Really?
It's decision time for LeBron James because all the information for the most part is in. GMs, presidents, owners, they've all been heard from. They're continuing to have conversations with agent Rich Paul here this week as well. Players have also reached out to LeBron James to recruit him. And yes, all the voice notes have also been listened to. And rosters have been set around the league. The decks have been set. And the leading suitors have been Cleveland, Miami, Golden State, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. And what we know definitively is LeBron James has made it clear privately that he wants to go somewhere where he can compete for a championship, somewhere where he feels like he finds that happiness from a team environment and culture that he feels he can uplift. And the big thing here is this is not going to be a financially driven decision. So that gives LeBron James the ability to hear from teams that have the minimum, have other exceptions, have salary cap space as well, and also be allowed to take his time through this decision.
Can he just decide?
What's the most important thing that you heard of everything?
Voice memos.
The voice notes to me, I'm like, right immediately when I said that, I said, this is what it's coming down to.
Why did they leave?
Whoever leaves the
memos?
best voice note's got a real shot
Like,
here.
is that when
Can
you
you
click
imagine
audio?
leaving a voice note?
Wait, hold on. Is
That wasn't as good as the other voice note. And now all of a sudden you can't take it back.
Is that like here when I click on Allen? Seriously. And then I click on the plus sign and I have to scroll all the way down to audio? Where was it? Oh, audio. And then I leave you a voice note.
Hey, LeBron.
Hey,
man, just listen. I know I only have 60 seconds here, but
like
just really wanted to tell you how great our team is. And man, this is just such a beautiful city, and we're so excited.
iHeart should have partnered on this with the talkback. Like, hey, Memphis, you have 30 seconds. Hey, Phoenix.
Can I tell you how many times when I do my show, right? And I covered LeBron for 8 years, and that's just a small little piece of his career, right? Some people have covered his entire 23 years of his career. And the amount of I think Laker fans that are just, oh, can we please just stop with this? And then to see some of this stuff now, how it's getting dragged out, is literally some of the main reasons why people just can't do it. Make a freaking decision, for the love of God.
Real quick, I'm with you. Brent, what's your comment?
I was going to say, brought up on Friday, do you think he's holding out because he wants one of these teams to take Bronny as well? And they're just kind of like, yeah.
Okay. I mean, that can't be the big
you would think so, but
if I'm being honest, he's very strategic. So it's not like there is a method to the madness. It's just wildly annoying. There's a method to, if I put all these teams competing against each other, then maybe they'll make some moves that they weren't going to make before. Maybe I can get ownership to do this or do that. I do think there's a method to the madness. The problem with LeBron on top of that is, I'll just make my decision before free agency starts, so everybody's talking to me in the beginning. Then I won't make a decision until basically the very end, when free agency is about to end. The thirst for attention
is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Can I also, here's my general belief.
Don't screw up your voice note.
This will cause a firestorm in the NBA. Wherever he selects, it'll be a massive story, obviously. My point is, I don't even think it's overly relevant. I don't think he's going to be favored to win a title in Philadelphia or Cleveland or Miami or Golden State. I think it increases their chances. I think it makes them much more marketable. All eyes will be on that team. But do you feel as if he's heading to a scenario where he's going to be winning a title in his 24th year? I feel like that's overly optimistic.
I think he could definitely compete for a title. I mean, listen, I will, from just a basketball standpoint, he's still freaking good.
No doubt.
And if he ends up in Philadelphia, where he's the 4th or 5th best player, like,
true, we talked about that starting lineup.
That's pretty good. If he ends up in Cleveland, could he be the difference for them? Do they then maybe use Jared Allen, use that as a trade piece, adding more stuff around that team? So I think there's a world. I mean, do you know what team was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year? It was Cleveland.
It was.
And if they don't blow a 21, 22-point lead in the fourth quarter with 7.5 minutes to go, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to beat the Knicks, but I'm saying that these teams aren't that far off of coming out of the East.
You know, I learned something today that I didn't recognize. They just put a graphic up on LeBron that said he's a 22-time All-Star. And I'm like, he wasn't an All-Star one year? His rookie year, he averaged 21 points per game with Cleveland. He was not an All-Star. That was fascinating.
That's a really good point.
Because he was the chosen one even heading in to the NBA. All right. Mason Miller's future. Is it in San Diego or elsewhere? He was asked about it today. We've got the latest for you on the other side.
Are teams leaving him voice memos?
Not yet.
Okay.
But maybe closer
Super
to the
interesting.
deadline. That's a fascinating question that we cannot answer. Stay with us on Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. Padres are off this week due to the All-Star break. They'll get back at it on Friday when they start a road series at Kansas City. Right now, the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby is going on. It's currently on Netflix. And we'll have both World Cup semifinal games right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow and Wednesday beginning at 11:30. A failed strut can turn any drive into a rough ride. When it's time for repairs, Rock Auto makes finding the right part easy. Shop name brands at lower prices and have the parts shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
All right, Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760.
We said how much we didn't like the home run derby, and then we're both like, "Oh my gosh,
this thing is unbelievable!
This is incredible."
It's like anything. Once you put it on, you can be captivated by it.
Well, it's good because it's just sitting in the background, and we get to sit here and do the show. And during the commercial break, we're locked in.
Yeah, I agree. What do you got, Brian?
Well, it's like I said, I brought up last week when we were kind of comparing it to the slam dunk contest that once they've slowed the pace down of the home run derby, it's more watchable. Because before they were going so fast with that timer that the guy would hit
Jacks
the ball.
Up their swings.
Well, the guy would hit the ball though, and that ball wouldn't even land, and they'd already have the next pitch go, so it was impossible to track it. Since they kind of slowed the pace down, it's more watchable.
Yeah.
John wanted like every 3 seconds he wanted a pitch, just pop, pop, pop. He wanted to get this thing done in 14 minutes.
It's a good made for TV event.
Yeah.
It's a good event. It's just, it's not necessarily for me. I've seen it 50 times, I feel like, and it's a cool event to attend. But if you have a player in it, cool. Like if Fernando Tatis Jr. was in it tonight, I'd be fascinated by it. Or even Manny Machado. But
what was it last year? Last year we had a couple All-Stars. I think Jason Adam was in it.
Oh yeah, All-Stars. Yeah, I'm with you.
Gave up a run, stuff like that. But like there was, you also like just
don't mess it up for your team.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up.
I remember growing up watching. It's like you got Padres had some squads, right? Mid 90s, 96, 98 in that stretch, and every time there was a Padre up, I'm like, just don't screw
it up. Don't screw it up. All right, so Mason Miller was asked today at MLB All-Star Media Day. He was asked extensively about his future. The overall takeaway is that he sees it as a compliment to the way he has performed. But he also credited San Diego as the place he wants to be. He also said it's so gray of the Padres situation. We have to see where we are in the next 2 weeks. Interesting comment.
I don't like hearing that from Mason Miller.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I don't like hearing that because first off, you don't want that in any of these players' heads. Like, I need AJ Preller to be saying that. I don't need anybody else on the team saying that.
Yep.
If Mason Miller is saying something to the effect of like, look, I think I'm going to be here. I don't think the Padres traded me to have me for 1 year. Love being in San Diego. Next question.
Yeah.
Wonder what the next 2 weeks are going to be.
I know.
That almost, I don't think, again, this is me just assuming something. Doesn't that sound like he's been told, like, why would Mason Miller be the one saying, let's see what happens over these next 2 weeks?
He was probably, who even knows, dude? I don't know. He said also it's kind of fruitless to worry about anything these next 3 weeks.
He's right about that.
Whatever it ends up being, it ends up being. Here's the quote. I'm happy with the Padres and the team we have.
Yep.
Obviously, we haven't played up to expectations put on us or that we had. We'll see how the rest of the month shapes up. A lot of teams would probably love to have me on their team. I'm happy with the Padres, and I'm looking forward to winning games with them. Interesting. Not the strongest of statements for Mason Miller. I would think after getting traded 1 year ago, basically to the day, he would want to stick around.
Of course.
I wouldn't want to be moved again.
Of course.
Would you?
Be that young and to be just kind of that dominant and you don't have a home?
Would you prefer it if you ended up with a legit contender? You got moved to the New York Yankees.
If you're Mason Miller?
Like if you're like now on a trajectory to potentially get to a World Series, would you take it? Or would you prefer the stability?
Yeah, I don't know. Mason Miller seems like he's got a good thing going here in San Diego. Obviously, getting hype isn't an issue. Obviously, getting the notoriety, isn't it? Hell, he was doing that with the A's, and we know what the A's are.
True.
But I get it. I mean, listen, if you're a competitor, you want to be pitching in the highest stakes. You want to be competing at the highest stakes. I understand that, but it's not like it's under his control. It's not like he's asking out. It's not like, he's walking away from the San Diego Padres. Mason Miller can't do anything else for the Padres.
He's done everything. He hasn't blown a save.
And he can't do anything else. His position, literally, all he can do is be given the ball when that opportunity is called.
With the lead.
And that opportunity is only called when they're winning.
Exactly.
So I think he's probably in a tough spot. I guarantee you he loves San Diego and he wants to make it work here.
Your gut says, does your gut say he would be moved even if they were out of it? Because mine does not.
Man, my gut tells me is Mason Miller's a Padre.
That's how I feel. Even if they are, to your point, let's just say over the next 14 games, they're 7-7.
Yep.
It's kind of who they've been.
Mm-hmm.
6-8, 8-6, whatever. It's the same thing. So they're at the deadline. They're one over. Or they're one under. They're 4 games out of a playoff spot. It's not overly optimistic. I think he still stays.
Yeah,
I think they double down on his future.
Only way I think he leaves, and I think they also do this, another reason why they stay. Let's say he stays and they don't make the playoffs.
Okay.
And people say, oh, you screwed up. You should have got rid of Mason Miller, this, that. No, I lean towards, well, you need a closer next year.
Yep.
And you're going to retool. By that point, the new ownership's going to be in. Let's see what they do in the offseason. I think you're going to want to have Mason. If you're a team that wants to be a playoff contender, you want Mason Miller on your team.
Yeah. Let's say you move him.
Yeah. There's a path.
You're not moving him because of what he makes. Now he's going to make more because of arbitration. So he'll make a good number, but he's not going to be making hundreds of millions of dollars, for example.
Sure.
So you're not solely moving him for money. Now, what's your return going to look like? Mike Ferrin told us earlier today would be a significant return. Maybe not the Leo DeVries return because it's a year later, but a significant return. But are you better off going to get one of the top pitching or position player prospects in the sport and looking at that player impacting your team in 1, 2, or 3 years' time? Or are you better off just having Mason Miller for the next 3 years?
I'll tell you this. I think if Mason Miller got traded, AJ Preller's like, I just can't say no to this offer. Whatever that offer looks like, right?
Godfather offer.
Yeah. And I think, who was it that said this? Was it Acee that said it? I can't remember who said it, but early, the A's weren't looking to trade Mason Miller, but they got an offer that was, okay, we'll trade him now. And I think even as we sit here today, you have no idea if there's a team that's going to come in. Let's use the Yankees as an example that says, not only do we want Mason Miller because he's controlled for these next couple of years, not only do we have a shot of winning a World Series, not only does he increase our chances, not only is he box office, not only is he going to sell jerseys, all that stuff. The only way we're going to get him from the San Diego Padres, we got to give up just an offer where AJ Preller says, there's nothing I can do here. I got to take this offer. That's the only way I see him being moved. If it's not that, I don't think the Padres are making calls to trade Mason Miller. I think they'll
entertain.
I think you have to. It just comes with the business. Nobody's looking to sell. Nobody's looking to trade. Your star player. But if somebody called and it's
I found it interesting when Mike Ferrin was like, listen, it might be more realistic that Adrian Morejon moves. He's only controllable through the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's it.
Then a free
he's
agent.
out after that. And that makes sense.
Not
that
getting
makes
that
sense.
crazy return, but it does make sense. And they could do both, by the way. You could move an Adrian Morejon and add a starting pitcher. It doesn't have to be linear. People might look at it at the end and be like,
I agree.
What exactly did he do? But, what did he have? This thing hasn't been so perfectly constructed as it is. So it could be very interesting to see how it plays.
No, I think let's use Morejon as an example, who's been phenomenal. I think
really
every
good.
San Diego Padre would be so sad to see Morejon go. But if he did go and you got a starting pitcher in place that you feel like it's more important to have a starting pitcher than your the setup to the closer, I would understand where they're coming from, especially if you feel like Morejon's going to be gone. But Adrian Morejon's been phenomenal. That'd be a bummer to see him go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by it because a lot rides on how they play the next 2 weeks. It just does. Because if they go 4-10, Mason Miller might be gone. If they go 10-4, there's no place on earth where he goes.
I think neither are going to happen.
Either do I. I don't know. I mean, an 8-game losing streak just a couple of weeks
That's
ago.
a good point.
So I don't know what to protect.
If there's one point to come up against my point, was they literally just had an 8-game losing streak and had lost 9 of 10.
Right. Exactly. Will we see the opposite
Excellent
of that?
Counter.
Will we see the opposite of? I mean, shoot, the team they're playing out of the break, by the way, Kansas City, 38-59, 21 games under. So maybe it is the right team to start the second half with.
Yeah, I'm starting to see here. I think you had gone through it, but you had gone through some of their schedule coming out of the break.
Yeah.
It's
not crazy because when you get home, it's San Francisco and Colorado, and that's still before the deadline. But I don't know what to make of it because they can be good against good teams. They can be bad against bad teams.
KC, 4 against Atlanta. I mean, listen, at Miami, these are tough games.
Yeah, I agree.
Then you're right, Colorado and San Francisco.
So we'll see where they stand in 2 weeks' time. All right, on the other side, we are giving away a 4-pack of tickets to see ZZ Top, plus playing your talkbacks should the Padres buy, sell, or hold with the deadline approaching. We're here until 6 p.m. This is Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, let's give away ZZ Top tickets, Alan. Right? Shouldn't we do that?
Let's do it, of course.
4-pack of tickets, ZZ Top, with special guest Cheap Trick.
North always taking care of people.
That's right. North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, August 4th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Let's go to the talkback mic and give away these tickets.
Hi, guys. This is Brian from Alpine, and I may be a total optimist, but I think they need to buy. I think our superstars will be super again, and I believe. So I'd just like to see him pursue something rather than fall back again. So that's my take. Thanks, guys.
All right, good.
That's a fair, and I love the throwing out the city. So shout out to Alpine there.
And he's the winner, by the way, of our ZZ Top tickets.
All right, very
Brian
nice.
and Alpine.
I think you got, I've heard this from so many different people, and I know, John, you do all the time. It's like, what's the message you're sending to your fan base if you do sell?
Yep.
And listen, let's look at the economics of this. They want to see that Petco Park continue to be sold out. I mean, how disappointing would it be? You get to September 1st, and the Padres are just not a conversation anymore. And they did sell out all their assets. Now, the team and the franchise should not do what you and I want to see, nor what Brian and Alpine wants. They should do what's in the best interest for a long-term vision. But I get hey, if they're close enough here, let's just try to see if we can add a piece or two and see if the Padres can back into that final wild card spot.
I get that completely. I mean, I'd prefer, to be frank and honest about it, I'd much prefer that than them selling off parts. Now, it might be best for the organization. It might be amazing with the right return. They might situate themselves well for the future. I'm just saying, in the here and now, I'd love to see them play well for 2 weeks and then add to it and chase down a playoff spot.
And that's why we don't get paid to be the general manager.
Exactly.
But that's why I will say this on the Preller front. Okay, let me play out a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they played 500 the rest of the way.
The rest of the season?
No, to the deadline.
Yep.
And AJ Preller sold.
Yeah, so 500 on the nose. They sell.
And he decides
this team
ain't it.
Yep.
Would you be upset at AJ Preller?
I would not.
I wouldn't either. And it would be one of the few times that I say the organization looks a little responsible.
Right. But I could see why someone would be.
Oh,
maybe
100%.
Point,
I think there would be. Yeah. I think there'd definitely
let's
be.
Pretend right now they're 3.5 out. So let's just say they are at 500. They're 3.5 out. 15 games from now, there's 50 games to play roughly. People are like, really? You're going to sell? We're 3 out with 50 to play. Aren't you 1-7-3 stretch away from being in playoff position over your final 50 games? But I would defend the organization and say, yeah, maybe they are, but they haven't proven to be that team for so long. So why are we betting on them closing 31-19 when they've been a 500 team all year?
The only thing I'd say, if they do decide to sell off, again, I just want to see pieces that are coming back that you feel like are helping you next season.
Right. So you don't want to see youthful, high ceiling prospects. You want to see developed prospects that can get to the big league sooner rather than later.
I think you either are basically saying we are a rebuilding franchise or you're not. And I think the Padres are sitting in this middle ground right now. If you still got Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Xander Bogaerts, all these other names that are on your team, until you decide that's it, that chapter is done, it's tough to why then? So you're going to get some 21, 22-year-old prospects and just wait?
It's a good point. Do you think it'll be on? Do you think we'll get something surprising from Preller either way? Not just surprising, very surprising. Very surprising to me would be Xander Bogaerts is traded. I don't think, and Mason Miller's not very surprising. Everyone's talking about.
I don't think we're going to get something shocking.
Shocking.
No, I was kind of shocked last year. At that deadline, I was shocked.
The fact that they moved DeVries was very surprising.
I'm with you, and the fact that they thought, "Hey, this is the team."
Yep.
Because I think everybody had their doubts, and you should have had your doubts. But after the trade deadline, they raised the expectations to a whole new level, and then they just absolutely flatlined from there. They did nothing after the trade deadline.
I mean, they had the bad luck of Jason Adam, who went down. They had the bad luck of Laureano. But to your point, they also
the month of September, it's they didn't play well. They went in with no momentum.
Yep.
They lost any shot of having these games at Petco, and then it was,
and that was theirs for the taking by playing well in September. They could have hosted that series. that they ultimately lost to the
There
Cubs.
was even a chance when at the deadline you started thinking, hey, I think the division is real.
Oh, yeah, they were in it. You're 100% right. They were in it around August 1st last year.
That
They're
all
not.
ended.
They're not right now. Brent, did you have something?
I was going to say, I kind of feel like AJ will never just do nothing, but I feel it's going to be one of those years where he'll make a trade just so he can say that he didn't do anything. Kind of like the year, I'm blanking on his name. Remember he traded for that guy that he flipped off the crowd. He gave him the double bird. Who was that?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because remember that year he didn't really pick up anybody, but he got like a handful of guys just to say that, oh, I picked up people. And none of them really amounted to anything.
Who was that?
Who gave the double bird?
Ian Kinsler.
Yes.
Ian Kinsler did within the last like 6 or 7 years. In fact, that happened on a night where I thought I was having a heart attack, but I wasn't.
That was
One of them.
That was the night. I was in a hospital on like some EKG. 3 times since moving to San Diego,
Yeah,
I
you
thought I've
mentioned
had a
that.
heart attack. None of them have.
But
I had
coffee
one.
related and caffeine related and stuff?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a heart attack?
I have not.
Brent left.
Just how nonchalant. Hey, have
It's
you
just
ever
such
had a
a
heart
casual
attack?
conversation.
Have you had
It's
one?
like, hey, have you been to this restaurant? And oh, by the way, have you had a heart attack?
But again, my theory, have you ever thought you're having one? Have you ever had to go to the hospital because you're like, yo, something's not right?
I think we've all had like a moment where something happens.
Your
You're
heart
like,
races.
what is that? And
Yeah.
then 4 seconds later, it's gone.
It's one of those risk
That's what I
reward
had.
things, though, where you
Yeah.
like don't necessarily want to risk it.
How hot is it in Philly right now?
I don't know. It seems like the ball's traveled very well. That's a great question.
Kevin said it was really hot.
Yeah.
Kami
okay.
is freaking killing it.
It is 80 right now. 80, and that's not bad.
No, it's
Probably
not bad.
80 and humid in Philadelphia is what it looks like. A nice night, like it was a clear night.
Oh no!
So, are you going to go home and watch this or
no.
not?
Every time you see, where are you when you see James Wood and
or
CJ Abrams?
I know it
You
is.
see Dylan Cease made the All-Star team.
He's starting. He's going to start the game for the American League.
Well, okay, let me say this in the offseason.
Yeah.
I'm going to give AJ Preller. Did you want to pay Dylan Cease?
No, of course not.
I didn't either.
No, I don't think it made sense. That was a lot of money, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That would have tied up even more of their future.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him $200 million.
But he is killing it.
He's pitched well. He has pitched well. Are you going to go home and throw this on now that we've watched the first 3 or 4 batters?
No, I think that was all I needed.
That's all we needed. Do you have a feeling in who's going to win it?
I'm going to
be one of
watch
these
that
Phillies?
documentary on Netflix you were talking about.
Yeah, I've been watching. I'm only halfway into it.
By the way, just real
Costa-
quick,
yeah.
it's so unique to see that Netflix logo for this. Like I'm
bizarre.
so
It's been on
branded.
ESPN for
I'm
30
so
years.
branded ESPN.
Yeah.
That's all I think about.
There's a documentary on the Costa Concordia. Remember that ship that like wrecked? I think off an Italian coast in like 2012. It was a massive
Yeah, I
story,
remember
and it
that,
was
yeah.
a massive boat that sank in 2012. Well, there's a documentary that like interviews people on the boat and
Mhm.
uses cell phone footage from the boat back in 2012 and has audio from the captain and video. It's fascinating. It is fascinating. That is where we're going to turn on Netflix. I'm going to turn on the Costa Concordia
Right.
and find out.
I'll do docs all day. I love documentaries.
Yeah, me too. Who do you think? I say Kyle Schwarber wins this in Philadelphia. We haven't seen him yet.
Done. You don't have to sell me on that. Every time I see Schwarber up against the Padres, it's 14 home runs.
All right, we're back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Getting you ready for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game.
Let's go.
Join us at 3 p.m. If you missed
And then
anything
the
today,
latest on LeBron.
yes, he will have not made a decision by the time we're on the air tomorrow.
Maybe now we'll be doing text messages, not just voice notes.
Oh, and Spain, France.
Spain, France.
Are
Yeah.
they playing? Yeah, Spain, France tomorrow.
Tomorrow at noon.
That's
right here.
right here on 760. All right, for Brent and
Hi,
Alan,
buddy.
I'm John. Keep it here. The Schaeffer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Peace.